Take the journey into the unknown with SNX Radio as we delve into the enigmatic world of UFO sightings and extraterrestrial abductions. Join us for conversations with leading experts and individuals who have encountered these otherworldly beings, uncovering secrets about their experiences, contact stories, and the profound implications for humanity. Listen as we reveal the incredible narratives of those who have undergone alien abductions, shedding light on the psychological and spiritual impacts of these encounters. Explore the depths of consciousness and spirituality as we discuss how these experiences may connect us to something greater beyond our understanding.
Unraveling the mysteries, secrets in the night. We travel through the cosmos, ready for the flight. Together we'll shine, casting shadows aside, in the heart of the rhythm where our dreams collide.
Join the submission, next quest, the truth is our guide. In the vast expanse, it's where we reside. Hands up to the sky, let the bass ignite. Feel the grooves around us, everything's alright.
From the submission, X quest, the truth is our guide. In the vast expanse, it's where we reside. Hands up to the sky, let the bass ignite. Feel the grooves surround us, everything's alright. SNX Radio, let the truth ignite. Together we'll shine, bringing shadows to light. In this cosmic dance, we're connecting the dots.
Tune into the frequency, let's explore the spots. Heavy bass drops with tight beats.
Illuminate the shadows, the echo of our call.
On this roller ring will never fall.
Feel the energy rising, can you sense the spark? As we dive deeper into the cosmic arc.
Stories of the universe, mysteries unfold. In the heart of SNX, where the truth is gold. Every note we play, every line we write, crafting our legacy, shining ever bright.
SNX Radio, let the truth ignite. Together we'll shine, bringing shadows to light. In this cosmic dance, we're connecting the dots.
Tune into the frequency, let's explore the spots. Here in the spotlight, we're taking our turn. With the fire in our hearts, let the passion burn. SNX Radio's call, ringing through the air. Together we rise, together we dare.
So join us now, let the rhythm flow. With SNX Radio, we're ready to go. Unraveling the mystery side by side, we stand hand in hand. In this dance of truth, let the story expand. La 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 la. ColeyUFO, beam me up. Miya StarFire, light it up. SNX on the airwaves now. Truth in the static, clear somehow. I've been a seeker since day one, with a pocket full of doubt and a red sun. Coley, Weber, voice so clear. Miya StarFire, bring that near. Unite the ones who feel too deep. Wake that fire, raise it up from sleep. ColeyUFO, beam me up. Beam me up. Miya StarFire, light it up. Light it up. SNX, we rise as one. Truth dream, here we come. ColeyUFO, Miya StarFire, light it up. Coley Weber, aka ColeyUFO, hot supreme when the questions flow. Experiencer with a steady hand, pointing souls to the promised land. Miya StarFire, healer in flame. Master energy, calling your name. Impact glow in the midnight air. Take that journey if you dare. Coley Weber, vision clear. SNX uniting year by year. Miya StarFire, spark and guide. Open the door and step inside. ColeyUFO, beam me up. Miya StarFire. composure, we keep it real. Heart to heart, that's the deal. Seekers gather, names in flight. One true path in the neon night. One true path in the neon night. ColeyUFO, beam me up. Beam me up. Miya StarFire, light it up. Light it up. SNX, we rise. There's one true dream, here we come. ColeyUFO. Miya StarFire, light it up. La 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 la.
ColeyUFO, SNX radio.
Turn it up.
Let's go. Signal in the static, late night glow. Flip that dial for the undertow. Coley in my ear, like ready for the show. Heartbeats line up with the flow.
I hear you talking, but can you keep pace? I'm out front, you're stuck in place.
This is your ship, I'll take the wheel. Push that throttle, make it real.
Count it down, now 3, 2, 1. Pass the map where the roads are done.
Step by step, lead the known. Every shout shakes the throne. Turn into the unknown. ColeyUFO, turn it up through my bones.
SNX radio, everybody sing along.
Take the journey to the unknown.
Journey into the unknown.
All right. Hello and welcome back to another episode of SNX Radio. I'm Coley, also known as ColeyUFO, and I apologize that we got a little bit late starting. I had a pipe break, so as if things can't get crazier as it is. But I just want to go through real quickly and say hello to everybody in chat. I appreciate everybody hanging in there. And thank you, Pop, so much for having the back end. You're absolutely wonderful. So I appreciate it. John Allen, great to see you. And like I said, Pops, I appreciate all you're doing. If people don't know, Gary has taken on and he is managing the comments and he's taken on the production roles and he's doing amazing things. So I just want to say really thank you so much for that. Andrew, great to see you. I saw you in chat earlier. That's awesome. We'll get you set up too. If you want to shoot me an email, we can get you set up for a disclosure desk. That would be amazing. And I talked to Pops about it too. So he's game to do that also. But yeah, it's awesome. I know I saw Kurt W75 here. And we got Chiro Sounds, Jane. Definitely go over to Midwest Night Watchers and subscribe if you haven't. They have a great channel over there. And yeah, I would definitely. Sandra, great and welcome. It's great to see everybody. Diane, Diane's so great. Diane, thank you for all you do. You always bring a positive. Standing Stones, great to see you. Welcome. And I know I saw a bunch more in here. I don't want to forget anybody. Lori Ladd, Flamethrower Lori is in the house. Always great to see Pops and his crew. Midwest Night Watchers. That's G over there. Definitely go over there and subscribe. And there I found you, Kurt W75. It's always great to see you. And for anybody, Amanda, awesome. Glad you made it. Goblin, it's great to see you. Larry, awesome. What a great crew that we have going in here tonight. So Andrew Rollins, great and welcome. I appreciate every single one of you. And, we really have a great show. Like I said, again, I'm really appreciative of everybody just kind of hanging in there for a minute. We have Kelly Robertson on, and she is an author of 9 books, internationally recognized media, intuitive healer, and ordained minister, psychic medium, and transformative life coach. She does a lot with the energy. And also, I want to say we're missing Miya tonight. If you guys could just keep Miya close in your prayers and in your thoughts right now. She's got some stuff going on. So I just want to say that too. And like I said, this end of it, this is like more, absolutely love what Kelly's bringing here. So we're going to go ahead and bring Kelly on and welcome her to the show. Kelly, welcome. And thank you. I appreciate so much. Yeah, you hanging in there while I had a pipe. But I like I said, I really appreciate you guys just really hanging in there. And for people who don't know who you are, do you want to go ahead and tell them a little bit more about yourself, what you do and who you are and why you do it?
Okay. Well, I'm also known as Earthsong Lovecraft. I'm an international medical intuitive and healer, ordained minister, psychic medium, author. I like to call myself a transformation architect because I actually help people to tap into their human potential and consciousness. I help them remember who they truly are. And my work is about awakening that dormant human potential. You could say that I'm the bridge between spirituality, consciousness, healing, experiencer phenomena, and practical transformation.
That's awesome. I grew up a medium, so I kind of have, but I'm not as Miya's way better at the practicing part of it. But like I said, I can relate to a lot of that. I think it's absolutely amazing and awesome. And I really give you a lot of credit for being able, you guys really take on the emotions and the, of people. And I give you a lot of credit for doing that. I really do. Cause that's not up my alley.
That's actually something that I teach to people. Once I teach them how to tap into their gifts, is how to delineate between their feelings and emotions and things they're picking up and others, and also how to like block it or shield it so that it isn't overwhelming, because like natural empaths, right? They're constantly overwhelmed from the overstimuli in their environment, much like autistic children are as well. And I have 2 autistic children out of 7. And I taught them also how to control that, all of that extra sensory perception that's flooding into them, how to deal with it, work with it, integrate into it. So yeah.
That is really a good point, because I don't think that's really talked about enough on how overwhelming this can be for the person that is, regulating a lot of these emotions or is taking this on. And autistic kids are absolutely gems. They really are.
They're so tuned in.
Oh gosh. They really are. They are. I said that out of anybody, that segment of I loved. They're so smart. You're right. They're so in touch. They're so in tune. People just don't realize how much they're taking on. They really are taking on a lot.
I love what that team is doing with the telepathy tapes. That's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So
if you know what that is.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, there's so much that goes to it, and people don't realize too, like, even like the telepathic stuff, all of this stuff that it's not in, just because you're not seeing the alarm going off doesn't mean there's not one going off,
That's right.
That's awesome. And so you've 7 kids.
Yeah.
Wow. But you have to have patience of steel.
Well, I'm a Cancerian, so I'm the mother of the zodiac. Yeah, I'm the 7th born. I have 7 kids, and I have 7 grandkids.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Hey, you don't look like you're old enough to have grandkids. That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah, some of my grandkids are actually older than my 2 youngest.
See, I came from a family like that, where kind of like there's an 18-year span, and nobody quite knew where everybody fit in along the way. But big families are great, though. I mean, you got all that support if you get along. And
well, you don't always get along, but
my family is like, we're kind of. But some families who do, that's great. I think that big family. I mean. Just getting back to some of that stuff, we need to get. I feel like we've lost so much of that just over the last couple of years, but
I do too.
That's awesome.
And I came from a big family. My grandparents had 16 kids. My mother was one of 16. And so we came from the big family reunions, the big Sunday dinners, everybody getting together and playing their instruments. And like, it was amazing. And I wanted to continue that lifestyle for my children. And, my grandfather was also Native American. So he's part of why I am who I am today, because he helped me to learn the herbal medicines and what to use them for and how to use them and how to live in harmony with the land and all of those things, which I feel like are very important.
They are very important.
Society needs to get back to.
I'm a firm believer in plant medicine. People know I really do. If you can go the natural route, that's absolutely awesome. And 2, like a lot of what my research studies, the Native American and the Irish connection between whatever, I guess what people ET, and now it's whatever you want to call this, like, or I guess I'm not sure how you perceive it, but everybody kind of does it a little bit different. I saw that you had Pleadian connections. Is that correct? Do you kind of want to, my audience is, they're, love the ET stuff. They love the parent. I mean, this is just like right up their alley, but kind of go into some of that for you and what that was like. I know some, we've got a couple people that kind of come as contacts, like James Gillian, for example. He'll say that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's got, I'm trying to think of how he words it. But yeah, that's awesome that he's able to kind of create that segue then between people. So what kind of contact, I guess, do you have with ET, and how does that look for you?
Okay, so before I get into that, I just want to quickly touch on what you said about Native Americans and Irish and the connection with ET, because I actually do my own podcast, and I just did a video on this. In my research, I've discovered that the Irish, the Native American, the Basque people, several different lineages all stem from what we would know as Phoenicians, what we would also know as Atlantean bloodlines, and they have very strong Pleadian connections to them. So
That,
that
you know,
maybe,
that's interesting that you say that, but I had, as crazy as it sounds, and I had one of the markings that I woke up with was the Seven Sisters. It looks like it's right out of the Pleiadian star map. I can actually pull it up and show you. It's so weird. But that it's always, and I was born on I was a Taurus, so I was May 7th, and the 7. So, and
nice.
then you mentioned before the 7, I guess I always wondered what that connection was, or it seems like too, like a certain segment of the population, you know, just like that was kind of a thing, like the Pleiadians were really coming forth when I came 2017, when I had my first contact experience. But yeah, I was just kind of
Yeah.
interested on how you saw all of that and fitting in.
Okay, so well, part of it's my view on it, but also part of it is what I was taught, because I'm a lifelong contactee, if that's what you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, they're family. I mean, they are literally my family. My earliest experience that I had, I was 7 years old, and in the park, and there's the whole thing about I was missing for 3 hours, but I literally felt like I was only there 15 minutes. But there was this very beautiful blonde, early 20s young lady waiting in the shelter house as I walked into the park. And I grew up across the street from the city park, which was like pretty much empty all the time because there were bigger kids in my neighborhood, and they were always doing something else other than being in the park. So I was pretty much alone in the park as I'm walking up to this beautiful, gorgeous lady. I mean, like the epitome of beauty, kind of beautiful, perfect physique, you know, strong, muscular toned. Her hair was perfect. Her face was perfect. Like everything about her was just perfect. She was, I mean, I just can't express that enough. And as I walked up to her, she starts speaking to me. And she had this like melodic voice. It was like she was practically singing, you know, like watching a Disney movie where they sing as they talk. And, you know, she said her name was Alanis, and she came to see me, that I don't remember her, kind of stuff, you know. And for me, like I said, I was literally only there for 15 minutes, because as this other man walks up toward the shelter house, it startled me, because he basically looked like a pimp, right? The way, because people in Stuttgart, Arkansas just don't dress the way he did. You know, I came from a very rural little small town, and he was in the typical, you know, Men in Black 3-piece suit kind of stuff, sunglasses, all that. And as he got close enough, he moved his sunglasses down, and he had these pinkish colored eyes. So it freaked me out. And I'm like, I think I hear my mom calling. I'm going to go home. Right. And I start running back toward the house. And as I'm running away, I'm like, I hope I see you again. And she's like, you will. And I don't remember like anything except that at 7 years old. So then flash forward to when I was 17, and I had another encounter. This time it was more of a surgical procedure. They took the scoop mark out of my leg for the skin sample, I guess for stem cells or something. I don't really know. And I specifically remember like surgical procedures. But again, I wasn't really remembering the visitations, even though they were happening through that whole time period. When I was 20, I had another experience where these beings came to visit me that called themselves the Custodians. And they started showing me all of this other stuff and helping me to remember who I am, who they are, and why I'm really here. Now, with that being said, I did always tell my parents, like from literally the age of 3 or 4, when I could articulate it, I would say that I'm here to help for something that'll happen in my late 40s that people are going to call a great awakening. And I mean, I'm a little bitty kid. I don't even know what that means, right? But my dad, being who he was, he worked in some contract work, we'll say, for the CIA. And so him being who he was, he sort of had a clue about those kind of things. So he started questioning me more and listening to me more, and really honed the gifts that I naturally had. You know, I was able to speak to dead people and see them, and tell what they'd been through at a very young age. I could scan a person's body and delineate what health issues they had and how they needed to fix it, or what they needed to tell the doctors in order to find it, and things like that. All of that stuff is in my first book, A Star Child Speaks. But I wasn't really remembering at that time what this was all about. I just knew that I felt different. I didn't feel like I belonged here. I would look up at the sky and wish I could go home, but I didn't know where that was. I didn't understand it. And as the custodians started coming to me to where they were allowing me to remember the visits, they start showing me that day in the park when I met Alanis, that she was my family. She was my sister, actually, is what I was told. And I was aboard a ship, and I met my father, whose name was Atlas. I met my mother, who didn't look like what we would think of when we say Pleadians. She didn't have blonde hair. She had black hair, very long black hair, and very beautiful brown eyes. So, you know, not all Pleiadians are blonde, and not all Pleiadians are white necessarily either. Some of them are blue, some of them are black, some of them are reddish skinned. So I think we have a misnomer about, you know, what Pleiadians should look like just from, you know, movies and whatever.
That's true.
But
that is true. And then none of this looks like the movies portray it. You know, none of it does.
Right. I mean, they weren't dressed like in spacesuits and stuff. You know? They were actually dressed pretty cool and regal. If anything, I would liken it to like the way they dressed in Greece or Egypt, you know, which, by the way, a lot of us volunteers, because that's what I am. I'm a volunteer that came here for the Great Awakening. And there are many of us. But we have connections to Egypt and Greece and Atlantis. You could say that we're the Atlanteans who came back to make it right this time. Because we're going to learn who we really are and what our power truly is. And my main phrases that I was given from a very young age is that I'm the beacon that leads you home to self, because we are who we've been waiting for. We are incredibly powerful, and I'll probably get into more of that later. But I mean, we can literally part a storm. My 10-year-old parted the storm we had coming before the interview started on his own. He just parted that storm and made it go away, you know.
I learned how to do it with the fluffy clouds. I use like the popping the clouds. But people talk about how they can even get in there and do more with it. That's awesome. That my kiddo does like the time dilation thing.
Oh yeah.
He's like, you know, he's just like, so I'm like, it didn't make sense. And I was like, man, he's playing volleyball and he's like on it. We're like, how are you doing this? And then so that's kind of when he's
tracking it. He's controlling time. Yeah. And we can do that. See, that's how amazing we are, because you can do that if you're in the middle of a car wreck. If you see your car is getting ready to have a crash, and I've done this, you can literally manipulate the time and slow it down enough to where you can logically maneuver your vehicle to avoid the crash. I've done it. That's a real thing.
When you say that,
manipulate time.
Yeah. When you're right in that moment, my audiences, they'll cringe when I say this, but I drove with a dead man when he died while driving the car, right? And I just remember everything. And that's what it takes me back to, is like that period in time where it just seemed like I wasn't panicked. I wasn't like a 7-year-old screaming. It was like time was slowing itself down and everything. And if it had gone any different, we would have ended horribly. But just like that. But that's so true.
And that was the key to why that happened for you. You didn't panic. You stayed in control. And we don't realize just how much control we actually give up, you know, all the time, every day. Thousands of times a day, we give up control to fate, coincidence. We just couldn't help it, whatever it is, right? I mean, I can use 1,000 examples for how we just give up control of things that we actually can control. And we're trying to hang on to control of the things that we can't. So we're all backwards, you know?
Yeah.
And
So
that's what
true. So
I help
true.
people figure out, like, what to let go of, because we don't have control of that. Because free will of other people, right? You can't control other people and how they're going to treat you and what they're going to do and how they're going to feel. But you can certainly control how you're going to act or react to things, right?
Absolutely.
No matter what it is. I mean, like my students and my children both, their reflex alone is so much quicker now that nothing that they drop is ever going to hit a floor ever, because it's just like instantaneous. You just immediately go into it and you know that you can control the time, and so you can control this outcome regardless of how simple or big it is, right?
Yeah, if you stay ahead of it, you're right.
Yeah, and that's what the custodians were teaching me. Me and my brother, actually. I have a brother who's deceased now, and actually
Sorry.
with the Pleadians, ironically, because that was the one thing we never saw eye to eye on. He didn't think that Pleiadians were helping us because he didn't think he ever saw them, but they were taking him too.
So
But
do you come from a line? My brother, out of 5 of us, I have a brother who experiences it the same. The other ones do not.
yeah, I mean, there's 7 of us, and there's probably 5 of us that my parents would have said have the gift, right? Because they believed in it, more open to it than those other 2. But I'm the only one that any of them acknowledge as having true ability, because they don't try to practice it. They don't believe in themselves enough, you know? And our dad raised me a little different. I was the youngest of 7. He was already in these programs with the CIA and, like gate programs and stuff. He knew about those things, right? The
I
Monroe
was a
Institute.
gate kid. Yeah.
I was a gate kid. I have a book on the gate program.
Oh, you are too.
Yeah, I went from the gate program to the jump room. Yeah. Like I was one of the kids that they put in the thing and sent to Mars and places. Yeah.
See, I remember up until I had mine was even weirder. They had me like on a farm. Not weirder, I'm saying, but like they got me at 4. So it had to have been something. My mom and I don't. It's weird the blood types that we have, but I'm AB negative, come from
Yeah.
2 O negative. But even to a farm, they used to monitor, but they had these 3 frequency machines, and I've not been able to tie them directly in, but they all go back to the Monroe Institute. They all go back to
Oh, yeah.
frequency. They all go back to it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting that you said. There's only a few others that I've met. Have you come across any other gate kids?
Oh, yeah. I've actually interviewed some on my own podcast. Yeah.
Doc Skinner, he's a gate kid, and there's 2 I think that I know, but that's really that we could even track down that are still apparently they I guess from the documents that I've gotten, there's basically we were supposed to not. We have an expiration date. I guess I believe like it's like 30 something that marker. That's why it's believed. I don't know what your stake on any of this is, or the disruptor on why they were actually marking us from birth, or some of us on there. But there's so many questions that I really would love answers to.
Well, here's what I'll say about what I know about it. From my perspective and what I know, there is like a negative side to it, but there's also a good side. The kids that went through the Monroe Institute type of training were the ones that the government, the CIA, was looking for of the volunteers. They knew about the volunteers, us, right? The starseeds. They knew about us. And it wasn't a nefarious thing, but there was a faction of them that went rogue that was trying to do the nefarious things. And they're the ones that went with the MK Ultra stuff. So that's where the divide happened, right? Gate program kids were not tormented or tortured per se, unless they went into the MK Ultra programs. So that's the difference between it. And I'm very fortunate to say that I was not in the MK Ultra programs, but I do know of people who were. And that's like a whole topic on its own.
Yeah,
But
some of this
the
stuff
Monroe
is,
Institute stuff is about teaching you the frequencies and helping you to open up and unlock your innate abilities, which is what I teach everyone now, is that we have this within us. We're all born with it. God-given, stamped on us, right? We were born with the divine spark of God within us. And that's what that divine spark is, that ability to know. And I know there's a lot of religious people that would disagree with that, but
Oh, yeah.
that's on them.
Oh, yeah. No, then once in a while, they've gotten a little bit better than they used to be. I mean, they was
Yeah.
like, I mean, poof. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's so much more. And it's like growing up, I had a really hard time with that because I had a Catholic, a real strong, Catholic upbringing. But obviously, like that part of it was a little. I just remember my mom being so freaked out. She was like, "Oh, we're gonna call a priest," and I was like, "Oh, we're not gonna call." Like I'm a young kid, and they watched the Exorcist movie. I mean, who hasn't seen that and like traumatized by it? But yeah, I mean, so much of this stuff was not. It was more taboo. It's really come a long way in the last 20 years.
Yeah, it really has. I was raised Southern Baptist, and my mother was completely freaked out, and it's her family bloodline that I got it from. So
yeah.
But
See, that's what I said with mine too. I found my aunt. Here's the picture. I was like I'm like, this is who keeps coming. It was a great aunt, and I'm like, it's coming from your side of the family. Like, I don't understand what the big deal is here, lady. But yeah, I mean, I could see too as a parent. Now I have a child who's 17. If I hadn't, now I probably would have understood. But if I hadn't, and I had a 7-year-old telling me that they were talking to ghosts, I'd probably be a little alarmed, I guess, in all fairness. But
yeah, my grandmother, before she learned about Christianity and became a Christian, and I'm not trying to put Christianity down by saying this either.
No, I know.
But she was known as the healer in the countryside. I mean, she literally could pull 3rd-degree burn out of someone in a matter of minutes just by laying hands above them and pull it out. And she's where I get this from, right? But then the church taught her that nobody should be able to do that but Jesus, which is the irony in my story, because I have always had a knowing that Jesus taught the way to do this. And later in life, in doing research, I actually learned that he really did teach people something called the way. And so I also have a book on Jesus right there where I'm talking about what I've learned about how he taught the way, because he was trying to teach people that they too could go forth and do the same great works as he and more. He meant it literally,
I think, that's so true
contradiction.
too. Yeah, no, I think it's a control. It's like it's a control mechanism,
Yeah,
It's
sure.
I think I love the fact that you're saying remember who you are, because that's so important. I mean
Yep.
that's exactly why we're here. As soon as you remember then who you are, it really does change. It's game changer.
Yeah, it's a complete game changer. Yeah, that's the term I use all the time. It's game changer.
Ride the wave. Learn to ride the wave is what I say.
Look,
Like you can't control. Yeah, I mean you're hitting all the.
there's my wave.
Oh, I love it.
Ride the wave, because I say that too.
Well, I used to when I was a therapist. I was a therapist for 7 years. I'd always be like, "All right, you got to learn how to ride that wave. Okay, we're already out there. We got our surfboards. We're in that water. I don't, we just got to ride it on in."
That's
But
right.
yeah, let go of that control. That's awesome.
Yep. One of my clients that turned into one of my very best friends bought me that, because I'm always saying, ride that wave, just breathe.
You got to be the passenger in the moving train. We're going to take this even one step further. It's like, disconnecting yourself from those emotional hot buttons so you can really stop being reactive. And
That's right.
in that moment. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And for me, being a Cancerian, that was like that was maybe my hardest lesson. How to separate the emotions, because, water signs, we're emotional, but Cancerians are like the worst at it. We're like hyper emotional. So that was really hard lesson for me. But I knew that I needed to learn it in order to teach it, because I've always known that I was here to help teach it to others. Right. So I guess I just signed up for, yeah, give me the hardest daggone lesson you can throw at me,
Oh God, you
you
sounded
know?
like me now. I was like, I could totally hear this mouth going.
I'll
Oh
take
yeah,
a
no, you
challenge.
just throw everything at me. I got this, no big deal. And
Yeah,
just when you don't think, you've got it all, just add a few more things on top
right,
of there.
right.
I
It's
got
like,
this. I
I
got
got
this.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right. I
that,
know. It's like, no,
that's what I did. That's
big
me.
mouth. I could
That's
hear
me.
myself putting my foot right in my mouth as I did that
Yep.
too.
Yep. I know, right? Like, how many times have you stopped in life and been like, what was I thinking?
I'm like, oh, here we go
Oh
again,
my
girl. You
gosh.
don't even know
Oh,
enough to stop yourself when you can hear it coming out of your mouth now. It's like,
right, right.
man, but
But
I so
that,
true though. I could see myself doing this. I could see myself, signing up for the whomper of the life. We're
yep,
having this human experience. We're gonna do it all. We're getting our money's
right.
worth this time.
But the beauty in learning the things that I teach about how to know who you really are, this beautiful ease and peace comes with it, because then it doesn't matter what life throws at you. You're not like, oh, really? Again? You're just like, oh, I got this. Right.
Yeah.
So it totally flips your whole attitude when you know that you can control these things. Right. Like, I don't stress over the bills. I don't stress over how I'm going to eat. I don't, whatever, those simple basics of life. Right. If one of my kids get hurt, I'm not stressing over it. Matter of fact, I will heal them so fast that when my daughter broke her leg a couple of years ago, the bone was already healing by the time we got to the hospital. And they're like, when did she do this?
Oh wow.
And we're like, literally 3 hours ago, right? We've been sitting in the waiting room for 3 hours. It literally just happened right before we came here. And they're like, but this is already looking healed. What's going on? And I'm like, okay, lesson learned. Next time I'm not healing broken bones until after they do the x-ray.
There'll be less questions to
You're just gonna have
answer
to,
on
yeah,
this
you're just gonna have to suck it up for a minute, because
end.
that was a lot of questions to answer.
Yeah.
And I can understand from their point of view, you got to be careful and make sure people aren't like harming their children or whatever,
Oh, sure,
or
sure.
neglecting them.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
get it, but it literally can work so fast that, like, I don't panic anymore, right? I mean, sure, you could say, well, that's because she's seasoned. She's got 7 kids, but I just don't
You know what?
panic.
Even if I had 7 kids, I don't think that would. But to remain that cool, calm, that's
Yeah,
really what it's all about. It really
yeah,
is, and
right.
and getting that. And I work really hard at it every single day because I'm one of those, like one of
Yeah.
those people. So I'm like, no, I got it because it affects the electricity around me. Like
Oh
I'm going
yeah.
and resetting that circuit breaker, like round 4. I'm like, all right, you got to
Uh-huh.
calm yourself down here, So that everything
Yeah.
starts going wonky around you. But yeah, you're in people. We are in more control than what we realize. I agree with that 1000%.
We Yeah, we are. And we can learn how to move past that fear and not allow it in, and just remember to check back in with the breath, right? That's
Do you
really
do
how
the
you
4,
regulate it.
4, and 4?
Actually, I do a 6-3-9 thing,
Oh, do you?
yeah, breathe in for 6, hold for 3, breathe out for 9, right? It's Tesla's 369. It's just
Oh yeah,
mixed around.
no, whatever because I'm like, if I sit there and I focus, I have to go, because I'm sitting there and that rhythmic
Yeah,
breathing is, I mean, in itself is
yeah.
great for the soul. It really is.
It
And
is,
kind of
because it brings you back to
bring it
present,
down.
to the
Yes.
now, and that's where we need to live more often anyway, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Be your true, authentic, and genuine selves in the here and now. Don't be so calculated and have to. I mean, when you can do that and you can really enjoy that moment, I mean, that takes and
Yeah.
alleviates so much. It's like, look to your environment first. We're having, I mean, it used to be like 1 out of every 3 or every 5 people with now it's who hasn't, come in, hasn't had that mental anguish throughout their life. I don't think anybody's
Yeah.
untouchable at this point, but
No, I don't either. I don't think there's a single human being on this planet that's unscathed.
right,
You
right.
know, no,
And that's how we learn. I mean, this is
it
all
is.
part of this crazy human experience. And I too, like, it's like that longing, and you don't quite know what you're longing for. But it's like I always remember looking up, and that piece when I first had, now I don't know how long it's been going on for contact or anything like that, but 2017 marks a very strong point when I remember. Now, going back and living through like the awakening and stuff like that, I mean, that all in itself is so painful. I mean,
Yeah.
some of this is so, and when you're talking about it and you're taking, I mean, you really are, especially if you're a feeler. And
Yeah.
how do you stay regulated? How do you keep all that from counter transference and coming in and destroying and dysregulating your life?
Well, I mean, it starts with focusing on the breath, but also having a healthy environment, being mindful about what you're putting into your body and your mind. Don't like doom scroll all of the drama. Be able to take time out and get back in nature. Keep yourself centered, grounded, and shielded. Being shielded is an important thing. And a lot of people don't understand shielding, which is also something that I teach because, well, I didn't say this in the beginning, but I'm actually a member of the Emerald Order of the Melchizedeks, and we teach. You've heard of the light worker. We teach grid work to people, how to get into the ley lines and stabilize the planet, shield the planet, right? And so, in the process of learning that, you learn to create these different shields. A lot of people are familiar with the Merkaba shield or Merkaba, however you want to say it. But there's an amethyst shield, an emerald shield, different shields that you can use. And once you activate those shields and integrate them with like your 144 fire codes, and you've got your 12 strands of DNA all online again, then the shield is just constantly there. It's like an extra layer of your aura, right? Which helps to protect you and keep you regulated. And that includes your health, right? It helps your health to stay regulated. I don't know if you're familiar with the DNA or not, but they call it a double helix, but there's 6 strands in each helix. And 97% of the human DNA is technically offline and not being used. So they call it junk DNA, but that is actually what I teach people to reactivate and awaken within their DNA system. So the things that I teach affect you on a cellular level in your DNA. They affect your soul and your spirit. They affect your physical body, your healthy body, to help you to heal and regain health. And it also affects your energy field that's called your aura, that's around you. And your aura is basically your shields and your layers, right? But I think you went back. I want to just step back for a minute because you said that your awakening was quite painful. And that's actually something that people don't really think about in the spiritual circles. A lot of it's so woo-woo and new agey, right? And this that I'm teaching, this that I want to accomplish and see for humanity, this isn't new age. This is old ways, right? We're going back to our roots. We're not creating something new. And so when you're awakening to that, when you're awakening to how negative the people in your life that you love really are and how much they're creating toxicity in your energy or whatever, or your job isn't where you want to be because the energies don't align for your path and your mission. It is painful.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but we don't change without being uncomfortable. We don't change without a need for anything, So if we don't see a need, we're not going to change. And that's how all of our great inventions came about, was through a need for something, right? That's what makes people become innovative. There's a need. So spirituality being painful is a real thing.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's also telling you that your soul needs more, right? And then you just have to figure out which direction to go toward to find the more. And that's why the Custodians gave me that phrase that I am the beacon that leads you home, because I'm not here to offer some quick fix or be a Band-Aid for anybody. And I definitely don't want to be some guru or messiah type person. I want to teach you how to be empowered. I want you to be able to take what I give you, even if healing is included, and run with it so that you don't have to ever come back and see me again. And I know that's not good for business, but I'm not in it for the money. Right. So like, I want you to be, it's not a one and done, but I want you to be able to spend your time with me in that season, however short or long that is for you. And then when you step out, you can be everything that I already am. Right. You automatically are there. That's what I want for people. So
That's and real quickly, Amy would like to know what the Jesus book is called again that you wrote on. It obviously wasn't the Jesus book, but that you had behind you.
I call it my Jesus book.
Oh, did you call it? You're
Yeah.
right, Amy. You got it.
It's called Jesus, the Truth, the Light, and the Way.
Oh, it does say Jesus. Okay, I didn't see that
Yeah.
before when you pulled it up. So yeah, you're right,
And
Amy.
it's available on my website in the store, in the shop.
Awesome. And thank you, Moon, for the super sticker. Real quick, that's awesome. We appreciate it. But yeah, I saw you 8 or 9 books that you have.
I have 9.
Yeah, that's
technically 13, but I haven't published those other 5 yet. They're just written.
That's a huge part of it, though. I mean that.
Yeah.
That's a huge part. So your website that they could go is the Earthsonglovecraft.com. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to put it into chat if anybody is interested. And that way, they know how to get to your books or your website. So I'm just going to put that in there really quick.
Okay. And I do have a lot of free programs that I offer there too, plus a blog with lots of great information in it that's totally free. But I mean, like, you do have to sign up for the email list in order to get the programs. But there's a lot of free programs there. I have a free 7-day activation that helps to just, get your feet wet in it. And then when you're ready to go deeper, then there's a 21-day activation for a small fee. Like I said, I'm not like for me, this is not about money, even though money is part of our system and what we have to live in.
Yeah.
But I want to provide as much as I possibly can to everyone, regardless of their financial situation, because I know even for me, when I was younger and I was just a seeker, right? I was so hungry, so thirsty for knowledge. And I mean, that was the old days too, where you had to go to the library and go through the little card index files to find something.
I remember
Right?
those days, right?
And if that book wasn't in your library, well, sorry about your luck, right? And I wasn't a wealthy person. I couldn't afford to just go buy books from people or buy courses and things like that. So for me, I always felt that pain of the poor person, right? And I'm like, whenever I get there, where I am now, I'm going to make sure that even the poor people don't get left out, because it's not fair for only rich people to be able to level up in their awakening. And I strongly stand there on that point,
No, that's true. And that's so good, because it's like so many times even myself and like everybody goes through different periods in their life where you can afford things you can't. But I think that's so true, though. That's if somebody, I always said that, if there's a way, there's a will, there's a way, or if somebody wants it, like, that's amazing that you're willing to give some of that too. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. You hear people talk about saying gratitudes. I do my daily gratitudes as soon as I wake up in the morning. I go through an entire list of things, right? But mine are the simplest of things. I'm grateful for great toilet paper, because I know what it's like to have not been able to have that. I'm grateful for really good toothpaste. So those are on my gratitude list every day. Like every day. I'm gonna
No,
be
this is a key right here. This is the key. Yeah, you got to get excited about the small stuff.
Right? I'm grateful for great ink pens.
I love it. You got to get excited about the small stuff. If you can, then it's like,
do.
you can't move mountains and one change isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
When you can get excited about that kind of movement, that's where that's
where it's at, because you have to be grateful for the basic things in your life that make your life easier or better, right? I'm grateful for electricity and warm water. I love living off the land, but I don't want to give up my hot water,
No, no, nor that I'd want to give up those indoor bathrooms. There's just certain things
Nope.
here.
Nope. My grandparents had the outhouse, and no, I don't want that life. I don't like going
Especially
outside
being
in
in
the
the
dark.
Midwest. Yeah, I know. It
Cold.
gets a little cold and freezing here during the winter time. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. And it,
No, that
when you're a kid and you got to go outside in the dark and go to the bathroom in the outhouse, it's a little scary. Especially when your parents live next to a graveyard.
Oh, yeah. As a
So,
kid, oh, for sure.
yeah.
Before you really have a handle on some of this, if you grew up like I didn't know. They took me
Yeah.
to somebody who kind of trained me how to get a handle on it because it was like way wonky out of. I mean, they as soon as they
Yeah.
knew it was like their sense of urgency, they have to get this message through to it's just kind of like kept upticking. But it really is a lot to manage and have a life on top of it. It can make you very isolated from other people.
Very much. Yeah. Very much. Yeah. A lot of people that come to me, the starseeds, the volunteers, they all say the same thing, and I never take it for granted just because I've heard it bazillions of times. But we have this common thread, this common theme that we didn't know anybody else was like us out there. We felt
Yeah.
so alone, and so it's like a family reunion. It's like having a homecoming for all of us to come together and to know that each other exists in all of these wonderful ways, like with your radio station and the podcast and, beautiful TV shows now like Gaia TV that have things. I just think it's so beautiful how all of us, very lonely, isolated souls, can know that we're not alone, myself included. I mean, I enjoy meeting this new big family,
Isn't it awesome? That's exactly where I'm like the chat alone has gotten people don't even realize. I'm like,
Yeah.
you've gotten through so much together, and that
Yeah.
like it really
Yeah, they're
is.
your
It's
family.
just heartwarming. Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah.
And they're the chosen ones. I always say, like, your family you can't choose, but
Yes.
this is it's when you find that place and that tribe, and that's why I'm really like, I'm gung ho on keeping that or preserving that. Like it means so much to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you have a show too, then.
I do. Yeah. My channel's called Deja Brew, Waking Up to Truth. I do spiritual stuff, but I also do like truther stuff, I have a Sunday show called Beyond the Veil where some of my students have now become remote viewers, and we remote view different areas and locations, and we always like I don't pick the location. The custodians tell me where to go, or where to send the group, and we always end up in something that has some type of a connection to like Atlantis or the Pleadians or these ancient ancestors who had the knowledge, that knew the way, the same way that Jesus taught, right? Levitating stone to move it and stuff with sound vibration and things like that. So it's really cool. That particular show is like my favorite thing to do all week long, honestly, because it's so fun for the collective to come together and, everybody's doing their own individual work. I've actually leveled them up to where they usually only get coordinates now to remote view the area. But it's so fun to see them all come together and all of us tell what we found or what we drew, and it all matches. It all fits like every time. You don't have to force it to fit. It just fits. And I just think that's so beautiful. But the reason I created the show was just sort of to gently teach the audience how easy it is to be psychic, to remote view, because we can all do it. And so we always talk about struggles that we've went through to get there, and obstacles we've overcome, and different things to show in real time that even though they took the classes and they've learned, they still tend to second guess themselves sometimes, right? But they've learned also how to put that aside and just go ahead and put it down on paper. And then when we come together, they see how right they were. And so it's a beautiful discovery every single Sunday. It's really
Oh,
cool.
that is awesome. And then you made a really valid point. It's like coming together when you realize you're not the only one out there going through this. It's
Yeah.
like, amen. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just not, you can learn. And it's crazy. Like Andrew Rollins, for people who aren't aware, he's in my chat. He was actually there almost from the start of when I first had. So there's like all these people where we just found each other and we were in these groups. And people don't realize like what an effect that had, and that made all the difference in the world for me. I think that if I hadn't had that, I probably would be a totally different direction. But it really does. It helps you get a grasp on it. And hey, I got the confidence. Not necessarily have it. Do I have it every single day? Am I that sure? No, absolutely not. We are human. We make mistakes. That's
Right.
obviously but
Right.
it really does. Just to have that
Yeah.
support system, it makes all the difference in the world.
It really does. And I think that's another important delineation between some of the spiritual circles too, because some of them teach you that you don't need anybody. You don't need their approval. You don't need their whatever. And while that's true, in a sense that your confidence and stuff should come from inside you, self-love, right? And we're not taught how to love ourselves, right? So that
No.
is part of my program that I offer to people, is how to really learn how to do self-love and what that honestly looks like. But also, we still need that nurturing of other people. We still need that connection, that bond. I mean, we've proven that even with infants that are in the NICU and the parents can't be around them all the time. And the nurses go in and sit with them and hold them, because we naturally need that affection, that interaction with other humans. That's part of what makes us thrive and bloom. So yeah, it is really beautiful,
it is too.
It's a really
I
beautiful
was
thing.
most of my studies that I did in graduate school were with the attachment theory. Like basically, if it was held like if you should expect a parent to do this, but they didn't. If this happened and that's exactly, you could just trace it. It was like, boom, right down the line, the pathology on where it and once that attachment, if they had a secure attachment with an attachment figure, just it changed everything. Learning to love, learning to trust, learning what is, love and what is not. And, it's like, how do you start to sort through that? I know, like, as a therapist, how I would do that. How do you start to sort through that with people and maybe like coming into terms with all of this stuff?
Well, I think that starts with expectations, right? We have to really be honest with ourselves and look at, where did we put expectations? On our parents, on our siblings, on our friends, on our boyfriend, our girlfriend, whoever, right? Where were those expectations? And should we have had the expectation? Because I think we're taught to expect things without realizing that maybe we shouldn't, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
And, giving, when we give to people, like there's a lot of my clients that at the beginning would say, particularly women, my demographic is mainly women over 40. They will say to me that, I gave him everything and he hurt me so bad. And yeah, I'm not taking away from that. There's a lot of schmucks in the world that have done some ladies wrong. That's a thing. But also, if the ladies would have been taught, all of us, all children, boys included, if we're taught true self-love, true healthy boundaries from the get-go, and to give without expecting, then we know clearly where to draw the line and to say, okay, enough is enough. I'm a Cancerian. I'm going to give 10 times more than everybody that gives back to me. That's just a fact. It's who I am. And I'm okay with that. When I was younger, I wasn't okay with that. I was like, why can't they love me the same way I love them? But they're not me, right? They're not a Cancerian. Maybe they're a Taurus, right? Maybe they're a Capricorn. Maybe they're an Aries. And that really does matter, because our zodiac sign isn't what people think it is, but it really is part of our makeup, right? You're put into a specific sign to learn lessons and have gifts to accentuate, and including all the planets that can have stuff in your houses, right? It's all lessons to learn and gifts to use. So I had to learn that. And I actually have a book on that too, the zodiac, and using it as a psychological mirror. Because we have to understand that they're not us, right? And so if I still want to give 10 times more than I know everybody else is going to give, I'm doing that from the heart.
Yeah.
And then it moves that expectation down lower, right? To where I'm not going to get hurt. Does that make sense?
You know, that makes perfect sense. That makes. I remember when I was going to graduate school, I was like, I had mommy, and I still do. My mommy issues galore, and I remember the lady who was teaching us, because then we had to take it over ourselves. She like came over and she put her foot on the chair, and she's like, "Let me ask you this: can you accept her?" And I was like, "Lady, didn't you just hear what I told you? Like, you just like listed a laundry like list off here." She's like, "No, I'm asking you if you can accept her. You want her acceptance, but can you accept her? Because you're going to see this two totally different ways." I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that's a good point. Because you don't. You expect that. That's where we really make a big flaw, is we assume the world is seen the same way that we see it. It's not. It's not at all. No two people see it the same.
I actually have a perfect little story as an example for that. That was my mommy issue. Okay. At the age of 6, I was telling my mom good night, and I love her like I do every single night. And it dawned on me, she never says, "I love you" back to me. And I'm like, how come you never tell me you love me back? You're my mom. Right?
Right.
And very bluntly, she says to me, "Well, love is not something that you expect. It's something you earn." And it really set me back, right? Because in my little kid mind, well, you're my mother. You're just supposed to love me. So that made no sense to me, right? And I'm still going to stand by that 6-year-old thought. However, flash forward to now, who I am now, and how I look at this from their shoes. My mother was an Aquarius. Aquarius people don't know how to show affection or speak it, right? They're not good at that. They're not good at expressing affection. They're not even good at accepting it, because they have this thing they have to learn in their own life lessons, to where they know that it's safe to be vulnerable, right? And that's what it was with my mom. I was the youngest of 7. She'd already been crapped on by a lot of other kids. I get it. Like, I get it now, right? She wasn't trying to hurt me. She adored me. She treated me great. She never mistreated me, you know. But I carried that resentment with me for a lot of my life, that she did that at the age of 6. Yeah, maybe she could have worded it different. I'll agree with that always. But I understand now that she wasn't trying to stab me in the heart, right? You have to be able to walk in their shoes and really understand them. And that's why I wrote the book about the zodiac being used as a psychological mirror. Because it's not just about understanding who you are. It's about understanding who everybody else is too. And allowing that space and that grace for each of them. The zodiac was not created to predict our future. It was created for us to learn ourselves so that we could control our own future.
I like that. I like that. So does it kind of go through, I know some of let's say the challenges that are just really specific to each astrological sign. Are you a 13-monther, or do you think that we fall into the 12 months, or what's your take on all of that?
Well, I know that we had 13 months. And I wish
like
we
a
still had
13-monther, I don't know.
I wish we still had a moon calendar. And I live by the moon. I plant by the moon. I do a lot of things by the moon. But as far as the zodiac book went, I did the 12 signs, because who's that 13, right? I mean, I don't know.
No,
I don't know how we would
that's
break
just
that
so
down.
true. Like was like, I don't know how, to find a good like balance in it because
Yeah.
I don't. It's not my strength, and thank God, there's people like you that really go into this in depth because it really. I mean, you can tell so much. I mean, if you have just those markers, and it's obviously enough
Yeah.
to be marker. Something put you on the grid, put me on the grid from when I was a child. So I just kind of looked to some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, take you as a Taurus, for example. Uh, you want everything in your life to be beautiful because beauty is comforting to you. But from the outside looking in, someone may think you're snooty or you're posh or you're bougie, right? Because you have really nice things. And it's not that you're all about the money. For you, it's therapy to
yeah,
have
it is.
beautiful things around you. And that's important to understand about somebody so that we're not being judgmental toward them and looking at them in a negative way. I mean, how right am I? Did I
No,
hit it?
yeah, no, you're right on target. And that's so true too. I'm like, I find comfort in it. And it's just like, I mean, people don't even have, I mean, the glitter galore. I mean, we're talking some
Yeah.
gaudy stuff here, but I'm telling you, like when it comes to stuff like that, it
Like
does. I
the
feel very
pillows.
comfortable. Yeah, I really do. I feel like it's like, that little wrap of that security blanket.
Yeah,
Definitely.
right. That's your sanctuary. That's your oasis. Yeah. But somebody on the outside that doesn't understand the Taurus may look at you like you're just a snooty biatch,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Oh yeah. And
Like
they
you're all
probably
about
said
the
that this time.
coins,
It
but
is,
you're
yeah, and
actually
I'm
a
like, man,
hard
it couldn't be
worker.
further from the truth. But
Yeah.
when you look at stuff, and you're right, because this is a good lesson for everybody to learn. I always tell people, you got to challenge. If you think and you're in that mindset, challenge and see if you're right or wrong. See if that person really thinks that about you or not. Like you got to
Mhm.
challenge some of the stuff. Otherwise, you don't find those distortions, and they
Yeah.
become very real. And especially if you going through a rough patch or a depression or something in your environment, it can really just drag you down to have and carry all that stuff with you.
100%. My grandfather, that was a Native American, used to always tell me, because teenagers, right? We all worry about that peer pressure and what people think about us and reputations and all these things. And my grandfather would always say to me, what other people think of you is none of your damn business. And I would be like, but Grandpa, Mom says that, we should care. And on the one hand, she was right. We should care. But it's not our business what they do think. So the caring and the not thinking both come from the same place. How do you think about yourself? How do you feel about yourself? Where's your level of compassion for yourself or your confidence, right? How secure are you in your decisions? What you wear, what you look like, how you carry yourself, the way you speak. Because that's what matters the most. How do we feel about ourselves? And that's what Grandpa was trying to teach me in that. But also, we do want to have pride about ourselves and dignity about ourselves. Ego is not a bad thing. It just needs to be healthy. It needs to be used in a healthy way. Same as our shadow self, right? We're not supposed to get rid of our shadow. We're just supposed to put it in the back seat and not let it be the driver.
Yeah.
But you
Embrace.
have to integrate your whole self. This isn't about becoming someone else. This is about accepting who you are.
I like that. That is so true too. I'm like, if people, that is the hardest thing. If you can forgive yourself, but you can only, if you can't do any of that, you can't help anybody else. If you can't help yourself, you just can't do it.
No, and we are our worst critic, our worst judge, our worst everything. And in my opinion, that's what Jesus and the esoteric teachings, the Gnostic teachings, probably several other ancient cultures' teachings all meant about the balance of the scales and judgment day and things like that, because you weigh it in your heart, right? We're the ones recording everything that we experience, say, do, feel, all that. We're the one recording it and uploading it to the cloud, right? To the Akashic record. So on Judgment Day, in my view, and I've had a couple of near-death experiences, so I feel like I can speak to this. You're the one that's looking at, oh, should I have done that? Or, oh, I'm really glad I did that, right? Like you're the one weighing that balance of those scales. And I personally feel like the Christians talk about heaven and hell. Heaven and hell. In my opinion, our hell is here on earth, or our heaven is here on earth, because the kingdom of heaven lives within us. And so if we feel good about who we are, and we feel good about our choices and the way that we act and we perceive ourselves out into the world, then we're creating heaven on earth. We're doing the good works now, right? If you die and you hadn't done more of those things than the other, then you're the one that feels guilty for it. And then you're going to come back in some really sucky zodiac sign with a really sucky contract to have to learn it all over again until you figure it out. That's my opinion of how it works.
It's going to suck you right back here. And I said that's the last thing I'm going to do is, again, come back and take a whomping on the head for doing this all over again. I'm not doing that again.
Do you know that's actually a common theme with star children?
Is it?
They all say they don't have to come back again, and they're going to make sure they don't.
I say that all the time. I'm like, oh, no. We are not doing this again. We are not doing this again. I'm like, I don't even care. We are not doing this again. And I don't know what we got to do, but don't shoot right for that white light either, because I'm not going to go down that.
I think it's safe to go to the white light when you're ready. I feel like this reincarnation loop that people talk about is only a loop until you learn your lesson, and then you get thrown out of the loop. Whatever the lessons were that you came here to learn. But
I sent so many people to that white light, and I said, oh my gosh, if I've been telling them to go to the white light now and they've been sucking back through here, I'm really sorry. Okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, think about it from this perspective. If they're trapped here in their soul form, then they're stuck in the residual energy of a life that they no longer can live. If they go to the light, they get to do the reincarnation process, to come back and have that opportunity to correct their mistakes and learn the lessons and level up or go to the next grade, however you want to look at it, right? And so you did the right thing by helping them to go to the light, in my opinion. And I work a lot in the spiritual realms, so I feel like I do have some authority on that subject, that that's the right thing to do, and that you did good by them.
It always seemed like the right thing to do. It always felt like the right thing to do. That was the confusing part about it.
And that's what we should check in with. That's how we know true discernment. How do we feel about it? How did it resonate with us, right? Does it give us goosebumps? Did it give us, what kind of God nod did we get, right? If it feels good, if it feels safe, if it feels joyous, then it was a good thing. If it feels bad, then obviously that's where your discernment says, okay, that's a red flag, right?
Absolutely.
Listen to the body.
I think they're going to throw all that too at you. Somebody's like, when you're trying, they put those layers of fear in there, and like they'll have your, and I'm like, man, I don't even know if any of us are to that point yet. It's just like, how confused can they possibly get us before we get to that point? Because I was like, gung ho about this. Like, let's go to the white light. Like, this would feel. And then you hear that, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe we just need to like slow it down here a minute. I don't know how we navigate through here, but I'm determined to navigate through this. What are your thoughts on, like, I know there's like prophecies of this, like coming into 2026, 2027, that, there are certain, and I always wondered, like, hey, are they putting this here as like a form of entrapment to find one another? But apparently there's, supposed to start pinging one another, quote unquote, or for these years. But it's, I used to think things like this, like I'd be like, I don't know, let's take a step back here. But it seems like it really is fitting into this window, like of time. I'm really curious as to what your predictions are of what the next 2 years hold.
Okay, so I think in the next 2 years, we are truly going to know that not only do starseeds and volunteers exist, and we know that because we're knowing each other, but all of us on planet Earth are going to know that aliens are real, that they're visiting our planet, that they always have been. and potentially even learn that some of them are our true creators. And that one's going to be hard for a lot of people. And I'm really like prepared to hold space for those people, because I know what it feels like when you learn that something that you've been taught your whole life is a lie. It's pretty earth shattering. And so
Oh,
there's going
yeah.
to be a lot of people that are going to need people like me, people like you, to help hold space for them. First to just hold them, and then to help them find the answers that they need to make sense of this, to be able to process it. Because we didn't have just one creator. And I mean, if we go back to Genesis, it says so very clearly, right? Let's make man in our image. Clearly there was more than one. But I'm not trying to make anyone feel defensive or worried about any of that. But I certainly think that within the next 2 years, that's going to be part of the veils that are unlifted. I think that we are in times of revelation, but we need to take that word literal. Revelation means that things are being revealed to us. And it's not a doom and gloom. It's not an Armageddon. It's not a Antichrist kind of a thing, whatever they've been taught, and I was taught those things too. And I promise all of you listening, I promise that I did a lot of extensive research to make sure that what I was being told by the custodians and taught wasn't some kind of psyop, because that's how my mind actually works. I'm like, this is a psyop.
Yeah, there we
Right?
go. There we go. That's right up my alley.
Yeah, such a conspiracy theorist, right? And I'm like, this has got to be a trap. I'm going to find a way to prove them wrong. I was like so rebellious about it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I can speak from a place where I understand when people don't want to accept these truths, because I was there. I really was there. I'm not one of those kumbaya hopium people, right? I'm very realistic. I'm very practical. I'm very grounded. And I've done a lot of research to back up what I say. So I feel like we're going to have a lot of revelations. I feel like we're going to have a real revival, a real come to Jesus moment, in the right way, where we really understand who he was, because he wasn't, and I say this loosely, but I don't mean it disrespectfully. He wasn't just a Messiah that came to save us from our sins. He was an incredible ascended master that came here to show us who we truly are and free us from the control system. And they murdered him for it. Let's face it, that's what happened. They shut him down, and then they took his stuff and made a church from it. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they were selling indulgences. It hasn't been that long that they've been selling indulgences to get to heaven. I mean, like all of this stuff, you have to think it's been used to manipulate the population and control the population. I don't think that they're by any stretch of your imagination, but that's so true when you come and you realize that all of this stuff that you have been very well disciplined if you didn't know, or disciplined if you didn't retain their information or anything like that. I mean, that's not what this is about. I'm like, I rejected all that stuff. I'm with you. I'm that Gen X, like we don't we're
I'm
not
a Gen
taking
X.
it. Yeah. You can tell us what to do, but we're not doing it, So.
Actually, a lot of the star seeds are Gen Xers.
I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah. That's why we were the rebels.
Oh, I know my son's always like, man, he's like, blood. He's like, your generation, you guys, so intense. You got to take that intensity down. I'm like,
it was so amazing.
oh, yeah.
It
I
was
said, you
such a
guys think you
great
just make up definitions for anything, so we don't even go there, Brody. We're not even going.
Yeah.
But
It was so great.
I love that. I said there's not Gen Xers. I really feel like we are the last hope here for some of this stuff. Because you gotta rebel that, you gotta buck that system.
We are who we've been waiting for. We were rebels without a cause when we were young, and now we're rebels with a cause because we're wise.
I like that. I said that it's gonna come a full circle. When you think it, because we were always like, authority. You do with the authority, and I'm like, man, who? Wow, well,
Yeah.
let's back this up here, because that's into my head too. It's like I tell Brody, and I'm like, Brody, we do not have to agree with all the teachers. We don't have to agree with all, it's like guys
Yeah.
taking steps back here because it really was. It was like, oh, authority said that, you do that. If you don't do
Yeah.
that, these are the consequences. And I'm like, we stood up to all that.
Yeah. And actually, going back to Jesus for a moment, Jesus was a rebel just like us in the 80s because he came in and stormed the churches and turned over tabernacle tables and said that tithes was wrong, right? And he's quoted as saying, I came here with a mighty sword. Like he was here to mess stuff up and mix it up,
Right. Oh,
He was a
he's a
rebel.
disruptor. Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
he was a
hey,
disruptor.
hey.
So,
Melissa wants to know if you think that includes the indigo children also.
oh, they're all all of those labels are star children. It doesn't matter if you're indigo, crystal, rainbow, it's all of us, right? And the Hopi prophecy knew we were coming.
So do you think that's what they're looking for then? Like when they do the heel, I guess I could the heel prick or what they were looking for when our generation was being birthed into this whole crazy world?
I think that they thought that they could find it through the blood, but that's not where they're finding it. That's
No,
not where they're finding
I
it.
was trying to
You
figure out like
actually
what are
brought
these markers, that they were
you
like.
actually brought up blood earlier, and I just want to say that it's a misnomer that the Rh negative blood is the chosen blood or the blood that's most often involved with abductions and things like that. And I can speak from experience because I started out in MUFON as a UFO investigator. And that was one of the things that we always want to ask people, what's your blood type? And there is no data that actually supports Rh negative being anything to do with the people who are lifelong abductees, right? It's in the blood, but not like that. It's in the blood because it's in your DNA. And they figured that out.
Well,
That it's in
I 1000% agree. I just try to put together like why in the world, because like I said in my history, there's a farm with an FBI raid and some machines, and it all centered around my whatever for whatever reason that they did, and I don't know. I wish I knew what they were doing, but I haven't put together those pieces yet. I'm still trying to kind of figure out some of that stuff, but it very well involves frequency machines.
Yes. And you should probably book a session with me so that we can get your answers.
Oh yeah, no. Oh well, I didn't
Because I
even.
also do quantum regression too. If you just wanted to do it that way, we could just
Oh,
do a regression.
okay. I've never had
And
regression done.
I do
Is
my
there?
quantum regressions online, which are perfectly safe because you're always in control. I mean, literally, if your body is like, I have to go pee, you can just be like, I got to get up and go pee. And then I'll
Oh,
take you right back into it because you're fully in control at all time. But we also go all the way back. We go back to in this lifetime. We can go back into past lifetimes because we're in the quantum realm. And I'm right there with you. I'm walking right with you the whole time.
how so I guess I'm curious, how do you think, because I've always I guess as being a therapist, I'm like, man, that power of suggestion is real. And when you're in that moment, but
Yeah.
I've never done the regression part. I haven't done hypnosis. That wasn't my type of therapy that I did. I'm not even going to pretend that I did. But what do you think, I guess, in taking people through that? How do you navigate through some of that so it doesn't, necessarily pick up on some of those suggestions, I guess?
I'm very careful in my wording to begin with. I don't ever want to suggest anything because the mind is a very fragile thing. And you being who you are, you should know this very well. It's a very fragile, influential thing. The brain can be hacked. The brain can be
Yeah.
programmed. So if we're truly there to help someone find their own answers, their truth, then there should never ever be any type of wording that would be suggestive or leading in any way, shape, or form. You want those questions to be open-ended, no different than talking about a child about, an imaginary friend that they think might be in their room, right? Or if they think they got taken by aliens. You don't want to influence what they say to you to ask the questions. So you treat it like it's an investigation, right? almost like you're doing police work, if you will. You would ask open-ended questions to where they have to think for the answer, not because you've painted something in their mind. The only part of something that would be considered suggestive is taking you into it. Like if I said, see a yellow flower, right? I'm just having you see a yellow flower. So to get you into that relaxed state, there may be words like that, wording like that. But then when we get into things, my wording is going to be more like, we're going to go back to a place and a time that Coley needs to see the most, right? And then there's going to be other talk going on just to help you to relax, to go back to that place. And then once you get there, and I'm very patient with people because the mind is working different when you're in that relaxed state, right? It's a whole lot slower over there. So you got to be patient and let them just get there. But then, once you're there and you say, okay, I'm here, then I'm going to ask you, can you look down at the ground? Can you describe what your feet look like? Can you see your skin color? Can you tell me what your circumstances look like, your environment, right? Like, are you inside of something? Are you outside? Those are the things I'm going to ask. I'm not going to lead them in any way, shape, or form. And generally, they are very naturally, once they start identifying their surroundings, going right into an experience, a memory, and what they needed to see there to learn, right? Because a lot of times we actually find, in my line of work I have anyway, that sometimes we bring forth wounds, emotional wounds from past lives.
Yes.
And we have to learn to acknowledge that and release it and let it go so that it heals, Forgive yourself or the other for whatever happened in that life. You can't change it now. You're not in that life anymore. So we shouldn't still carry it with us. But 8 times out of 10, it's still being carried because it's in the DNA memory imprint.
Oh, that's cellular memory too. You can't kick it. It's one of the
Right.
hardest things to kick.
Right. I mean, like when I said earlier that we're the one recording everything, like that's how you have haunted houses where there's maybe not really a ghost there, but this repeated loop that keeps playing over and over because an emotional imprint happened there, right? And it creates like a CD that just plays over and over and over like a broken record.
Oh, it's so true too.
Emotions
So true.
are so strong that we can create an imprint, right? Everything that you own, Native Americans would never keep any of the items or the belongings of the person that passes. It would all get burned with the body, right? Because they truly are your possessions.
Oh.
You possess that. Like I possess this, and it's not because I can say it's mine. It's because I treasure it, right? And this possession has much more emotion in it because a dear friend gave it to me than, say, a crystal that I bought from a shop on my own. So this is a possession that actually I have alchemically imbued a portion of me into. Does that make sense?
Yeah. When you word it like that, it sure does. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I always feel like I'm like those players.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of the residual. Yes. I was like, that same, I was like that imprint. It's like it doesn't matter. It's that same scene replaying over and over in that loop.
Right. And
I heard
those are
before you said you went into the Akashic records, right?
Say it again.
You go into the Akashic records.
Mm-hmm.
That's intense.
Yeah. Anybody can. We actually just talked about this on my Sunday show, Beyond the Veil, because we were seeing a place underneath of Hathor's temple in Dendera, Egypt. We were seeing a complex underneath that looked like some type of a library. And my little girl said, that sounds like the Akashic records. And then one of the ladies said, but the Akashic records are different, right? And like, not necessarily, because they can be physical, right? It could have been a physical place at some point. It could still exist even. But that doesn't mean you can't tap into it through the World Wide Web of collective consciousness. because we're always uploading everything that we learn and experience and feel into the cloud, if you will, we can access that in the Akashic records. And people do it all the time. Somebody that sets out to make a wooden spoon that never knew how to whittle, they're tapping into that cloud. Tesla said so himself, and Marconi, for that matter, when they learned how to create the first radio. They were tapped into something. They knew that wasn't their wisdom that showed them how to do that. They tapped into the cloud or the motherboard or the Akashic records. It's just different wording for the same thing. And the deeper you want to look into the files in the library, just really varies on where you set your own limitations, number one, of what you're capable of, and number two, how far you want to go. Do you want to climb all the way up to the 15th floor ladder and see what's up there? Do it. We can all tap into it.
It was intense when I had mine done. The lady went through, and it was the craziest thing ever, because she's like in a previous, and I could see it all. I was ahead. I was in this Native American, and I led everybody. I was so certain that this was the path we were supposed to take, and I could see it, blood. I mean, it was just like, and she could see it, and I was like, whew. That was intense, because it was just, it went back to, and I'm like, that is so true, because I then again went back, like I was so certain that in those cases, like I'd almost have a mirror reflection of things where I'd have to think the worst was going to happen in order to realize I was good. Like when I did my first solo flight, I had to think that plane was coming down out of the sky. It didn't matter for me to know that I was going to be okay on taking that flight. It's just that. But then we're creators, it's like I had to learn how to kind of correct some of that. But it really is. It's too much for it not to kind of sync up and come into place.
Yeah, because it's a lot. There's a lot there, and I love the way that science is finally catching up with all of it, because this is stuff that the ancients wrote about, right? That people would call myth or just part of their culture, and they would just shoo it off, not take it seriously. The science is proving now that you can alter the makeup of a glass of water by meditating on it, right? And that people can actually heal themselves when they meditate. And that alone is huge. We're showing people now through science that sound technology and light therapy truly does heal you on a cellular level. I mean, I love how science is finally catching up to all of this, because I'm a scientific mind. I'm one of those people, I need to know how it works. Yeah, okay, I can raise the dead. I need to know why that worked. Which, by the way, I don't even know if you know that, but I actually resurrected my 10-year-old child, my oldest. Wow. She was in a car wreck, and the doctor said, come tell her goodbye. Well, the difference between me and any other parent in that moment was that I didn't break down and say, please God, save my child. I dropped to my knees and I said, please God, show me what to do, because you're not taking her. See the difference?
Yeah.
Because immediately God's voice, and I don't care who they are, they can argue with me all they want, it had to have been God's voice, said to me very loudly and clearly, you know exactly what to do. Go do it, but with zero doubt. And I knew exactly what that meant, because I had already resurrected 41 baby chickens that drowned in the rain and 3 dogs. So I already knew exactly what that meant. I was using my energy on them, on the animals, as practice throughout my early adult life already before this happened. So I knew exactly what that was.
Oh gosh, I can't imagine being in that place with your child there. And
thing is, it truly was the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life, but the most incredible lesson all at the same time. Because here's my child, my beautiful, absolutely beautiful 10-year-old child. Everything on the right side of her body was either broken, swollen, or bleeding. Everything. Her internal organs, her bones, her eye was out of her eye socket. I mean, she was the most horrific thing to have to look at. And I had to take my mother self and put her at the side of the room, right?
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't focus on that, because if I would have focused on that, I would have lost my shit like everybody else. I had to put her aside and stick to the business, just like if I was the doctor. Unattached, right? In that sense, unattached. I had to look past what she looked like in order to heal her. The machine had flatlined. Her blood pressure was 0. I put my hand on her chest and on her forehead and started putting energy into her. And I have a doctor and 7 nurses standing there, plus my husband, all asking me, "What are you doing?" And I'm just like, shh, don't break my concentration. And I just start putting energy into her. I start pulling from every ether around us and putting energy into her. Her blood pressure came back online. Her heart rate started coming back up. And these people are freaking out. Understandably so.
They probably
And
thought they were going to have to take you next. They probably thought, man, this mother is going crazy. Like,
they
rightfully
thought I was
so.
in denial. They seriously thought I was in like some very strong denial,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But after all of her stats started leveling out, this one nurse stepped up and she said, "What did you do?" And I said, "I did what God told me to do." And that's how I left it. Well, she went from she's going to die immediately to she's only going to live 24 hours. Well, now she's only going to live 48 hours. Well, then the next day, okay, she's not going to make it more than 72 hours. And every time they told me this, I had zero doubt. Zero doubt.
Wow.
I did not listen to what they said. I smiled at them and I said, "Well, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong." Every time I said they're wrong. And again, these people are looking at me like, this woman is in complete denial. But this woman was walking in complete faith.
Wow.
And within 3 weeks, my daughter had went from she's going to die to at best she's going to be a vegetable to from an ICU room to a regular room and then to the rehab clinic and home. 3 weeks. Home. Walked home.
Wow.
Walked in the door. So I don't care who anybody is or whether they believe me or not. I know firsthand that the power that God gave us is real and that we really can do the same great works as him and more.
Wow. That is right there. So when they say that your faith is tested, that right there. Wow.
And I
Wow.
had to be raised Southern Baptist so that I could have the mother I had that taught me faith. Because when I was a little girl and we were poor, she didn't always have money for gas. But every Sunday we religiously went to church. And every Sunday we would pray our way home from church because we didn't have gas and we didn't have money. She taught me faith. It's in Revelations. It tells you very clearly. You stand firm in the face of chaos and you look through it. You look past it. You don't see what's playing out in front of you. You see what's on the other side and what's possible with God working through you. That's how you do that. That's how you manifest anything. That unwavering faith.
Bravo to that right there, because that is one of the hard, especially when you're a child. I mean,
it was very hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I still get emotional about it because I never allowed myself to feel it. I guess that's probably one of those things I need to heal because still to this day, when she's 33, right? And they said she will never have children. She's going to be dumb, right? She's going to be like mentally challenged. She graduated from high school, top honors and valedictorian. She has 3 beautiful children of her own and she's 33 and she still looks like a supermodel.
Oh, that's awesome.
God is good.
That is, and when you can see your kid, it's like that, and you can see like and coming through that. Because I mean, I hear you like as you're saying, like I had to look past those wounds because, whew, as a parent,
it's
like
so hard. It's
Yeah,
so
it
hard.
hurts. Yeah, when your kids hurt, you hurt. I mean, that's
Yeah,
if you're, I'm not saying all parents, unfortunately, not all parents are like that, but I mean,
majority of us, though.
wow. Yes, I agree. I agree. I
Yeah.
think there's good
I
in
mean,
the
it's hard
world.
enough when you know your kid's got a broken bone or something, but
Oh, yeah.
she was absolutely horrendous to look at. So I had to completely not look at that at all. Just tune that out and
Because
just
if
focus.
yeah, I mean, like, her very life is right on the line, like you said, like,
Yeah.
you can't waver. You cannot
Yeah.
waver.
But I feel like because of learning that moment, I really firmly feel like if everybody can figure that out, how to do that, we don't have to give up our free will when we pray. We don't have to give up our free will when someone we love is about to die or we're being told they're about to die, right? And I'm not saying don't pray. I'm saying don't pray with a begging or a pleading or an asking as if you're leaving it up to, right? Because that's how we're taught as Christians, that if it's God's will, it'll be
Yes.
done. But
Yes.
Jesus's message is that God's will is our will. And if you truly love someone enough that you're wanting to save their life, isn't that an incredible love to offer?
Yeah.
And we just don't know we have that option. So if I can teach people that they have that option, that there's a choice, so much could change in our world. So much.
I mean, just alone to hear you say that and like you're holding that space just to, just to think that there's some hope even being held is a game changer. It really is. And just to,
Yeah.
I mean, all these things that I think is absolutely wonderful and beautiful. And it's not obviously every single time going to turn out the way that we want it to, but you can't
No.
you can say that you gave it all you had.
Right. And that's the thing too about manifesting is no different than how we look at those past trauma wounds. It's about that expectation, right? If you're not very specific in the outcome you expect, you're going to get a random outcome. It's going to look different, right? I mean, how many times have people learned that? It can be pretty extremely
Be
different.
specific.
Different
Yeah.
work.
It's
So
like,
you have to really be clear and specific about what you want that to look like, right?
I catch myself from time to time. I'll be like, okay, if I just could find one more. And I'm like, why'd you just say that? Because you're going to find one more now. But like, I should have said I need to find 10 more. So I had, it's like a right instant, like, but it's
Yep.
so true. We can. I mean,
Yep.
we are creators. I definitely think the
Yeah.
mass majority of us are creators anyway.
All of us, we're always creating. And that's the thing about like the archons or the devil or the reptilians or whoever you want to talk about, right? All the same to me. They're not creators. They can't create a damn thing. We
Mhm.
are the ones that create. And they know that truth about us. We just don't know it about ourselves. So we are literally creating everything. And then we've got these puppet masters over here pulling the strings, telling us to create through fear, propaganda, whatever. And the quicker we figure that out, the quicker we erase them. And we don't have to worry about if they're going to get rounded up and thrown in jail, or we're going to see them go to Gitmo, or, we're going to have a war with them, or none of that is even relevant because we're their food in so many different ways. That if we wake up and take back our own power, we eliminate them. We starve them to death. We already won.
What we need to do. Yeah. Got to
The
cut
minute
that
we
food
realize who
source
we
off.
are, we've already won. So
Oh, that's
we
well
don't
said.
have to worry about how does it happen. We just need to know it will.
I can guarantee people that we're important enough for them to keep us here and keep us around, that there's definitely a reason for it. And I definitely am on board with what you're saying. Because once I am, and you take care, I am a warrior. I am, get that part down. And I'm telling you, it does. It slowly takes back that power and control, returns it to the rightful sender.
Yep. That's where it's at.
Well, that's
Take back your
awesome.
power.
take back your power, remember who you are, and don't ever forget it. Don't let anybody else take that away from you, because as soon as you start to put those restrictions on yourself, that's when our abilities start to, we box ourselves in.
That's right. You've already determined your own fate.
Wow.
But the beauty of fate is that it can be rewritten.
And it's
Because
never too late.
Since we have free will, we're always free to change our mind, right?
Yeah. So see, that's a part of it, I think, too. It's really the strength in numbers. Like, and I absolutely
Oh
love
my
that
God.
you're creating that community for people to, to be a part of, because that it's
Yeah.
I'm such a believer in it, because I've myself, if like I hadn't found people when I did, who even knows how I would interpret even a part of this, because I mean, when you come with something, it's like, okay, great, as if seeing dead people were not weird enough, like
Yeah.
now I got this going on, it's just like, gosh, I often wonder, I'd sit back and I'd be like, I wonder what it's like to be that kid that didn't see the dead people, or that kid that,
Right.
what would that be like for a day? Like, would that be healing? Would that be, like, would I be incredibly bored? I have no idea what that would possibly even imagine what that would feel like. But there's times in the day I'm like, man, why, but obviously I shouldn't probably think it that way, but so it does get to be a lot. But I'm glad that people have a place to go, and that you're creating that space and that hope for people, because that's
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you. Yeah.
Well,
There's actually, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just going to say there's multiple layers to there's powers and number things, because my brother and I, we were both being taught by the Custodians to use telepathy and telekinesis and all these different things. And so we would often put our energy together to do things.
Oh, how did
Like
that
my
work?
whole, well, sometimes some crazy stuff happened. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but we made some pretty crazy stuff happen. And I actually tell several of those stories in my my first book that's called A Star Child Speaks, a story that could only be told in fiction until now.
Oh.
Because we would like put our energy together and focus on the power line in between the pump house and the house, and it would start jump roping. And then all of a
you got
sudden, this spark of energy
the
came out of it and created a vortex that was flying across the cornfield. We're just like, what did we do?
See, when the first UFO I saw that looked just like that, I remember my neighbor and I got out, and we were watching the power lines, and it was like somebody just took it, and they were like, I mean, that sucker was just, so that makes sense. That really does. Energy and two combining like that. That's cool that you guys even thought to do that.
Well,
Without
we wanted to
causing
understand how
major
things work.
catastrophes.
We wanted to understand how things work, right? We were doing this. We literally like took the notepad and would document it like we were scientists, right? We were doing the scientific method because we wanted to understand how it worked. But yeah, practicing it is really fun. And we, like you were saying earlier on, you affect the lights, you can affect the electronics, things like that. Imagine if we all came together. Like, this is how powerful we are. Let's say we all collectively came together because we knew a tsunami was getting ready to hit Japan. And we focused on that. And we focused on reducing the energy in that tsunami. We could actually collapse the waves of the tsunami. And I've done this before with people like George Noring on Coast to Coast. We had a group that we would collectively work on, like the Texas drought or Australia's drought. One time someone was getting too much rain, and we were calling back the rain and dispersing the energy in the storms to prevent the flooding. Like, we truly are that powerful collectively. And my little boy, 10 years old, parted the thunderstorm that was coming right before the show started because he didn't want the internet to go out for mommy's interview, right?
Oh, that is so cool.
Parted the storm on his own. Imagine what we could do together, right? Because we really can affect the electricity. We are energy movers. We can manipulate the energy And I don't mean manipulate it in negative ways. I mean in good, powerful ways that helps other people, that helps humanity, right? Incredible thing.
Absolutely.
Like we could have a complete blackout, but if we all focused, we could still have the electricity work. And they proved that even with the solar flare that happened, the Carrington effect that happened in 1811 and 1812. All the telegraph machines quit working. Well, this one location didn't realize that they had quit working, and they were sending out telegraph messages still to tell this other location about what had happened at a different location, because they had gotten their telegraph saying, we just got a blackout, right? They received the message. They're passing it on, unbeknownst to them that their telegram machines also had been fried, but they were still working and delivering the messages without delay, because these people were that intent that the other city over here, the other town or community, needed to get this message. And they documented that in the records. It's there for anybody to look at in the public record, that the telegraph machines were still working even though they were fried. Wow. I've done this here at home. I've handed, not even trying. This is how easy it is. You're not even trying. I hand the cord to the vacuum cleaner to my little girl, and I'm unrolling it and asking her, plug it up. Go plug it for me, because the plug's down the hallway. I'm getting ready to sweep. And we're talking, and I'm busy, and I'm not paying attention. I'm not even looking to see if she had it plugged in yet. I just assumed that she did. I turned the thing on and start sweeping. And I'm vacuuming the floor. And she comes around in front of me, and she's like, and I'm like, what's the face? What's going on? And I turn it off, right? Put my foot on the little thing and turn it off. And she's like, she's holding the cord. How are you making that work?
Oh, wow. How cool is that?
I wasn't even trying. I had no clue. I just assumed it was plugged in and it was good to go. So it was. I mean, we're that powerful. We just don't know how powerful we are.
I would agree 1000%. If we only probably knew the energy. I know that. And two, it's like how it seems like it's through those strong emotional, if something has to do with my child, watch out. I go and I take myself and I go into a different room, because if there's like any cans like or aluminum, it's going poof, and I'm not touching it. I'm like, I don't know how it does it. I don't know why it does it, but it's a little alarming when it does do it. But I know enough to get out. Like when I feel that pull.
You just all you need to do when something like that's happening is to neutralize your emotions for a moment. So you're actually instinctively doing it right to just move into another room by yourself for a second, because you just need to regain your just collect yourself, right? And even saying that, we say, I need to collect myself, or I feel scattered. And that's a literal thing. When we feel scattered, we really did just fractalize our whole spirit of energy. And it's warm, 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 like on the movies, right? Like the Bionic Man moving and you can see his hand. That's a fractalizing soul. That's what it looks like on camera. And I've literally caught that on camera with clients before, where you can see them all over the place. They really are all over the place and scattered. And when we collect ourselves, we're all one, we're whole, we're grounded, we're centered. And so
I even was told, like, hey, when you reset it through laughter, through fun. Like that's where your ground zero, or your.
I mean, that is an easy. That's a quick fix. Definitely, laughter is like a quick way to get there. Yeah, definitely.
That's so interesting how it all comes full circle. I didn't maybe necessarily until we were talking, I understand exactly why or what, the little, but definitely the triggers. And two, like the energy, like that's where I unite it together and I pull it in. Otherwise I'm like, it's like lightning striking.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm even guilty still to this day. I have to like keep my emotions in check to watch a movie, or I'll mess up the DVD player. DVD, it'll mess up the DVD player. If it's on the internet, it'll mess up the internet. If I get too upset or emotionally invested in a movie, and I'm like, that shouldn't have happened. So I just don't watch that kind of stuff anymore, because everybody's like, Mom, the internet's not working again.
Yeah, she went and took out Netflix again. Yeah. Oh, that's so true too. It is like you wrap yourself and that's what I've really been like right there working on keeping that cool, that calm, that cool. Because as soon as you let those emotions fluctuate, it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah.
Some stuff can happen.
Yeah. Oh, it sure can, and it's not necessarily predictable. And I always thought that was cool too when I learned you talked about it too. Like with the crystal, like I always thought it was, but I didn't realize like that was that I guess the telekinesis. You know that we were in control of that. Is that kind of your take on it also?
With the crystal, what do you mean?
Like if you like for telekinesis, like if you know how you have a pendulum like on
Mhm.
that the person who was actually holding that knew the answers, but we
Mhm.
may not have been aware of it ourselves, that we were in control of that. That was kind of demonstrating the telekinesis, but I wasn't sure. Now everybody kind of sees it a little different. I wasn't sure your take on it.
Um, well, I mean, I do feel like it's our higher self that's creating the movement of the pendulum. Yes. Would I call that telekinesis necessarily? I mean, I guess it's one faction of it. Yes, of course. Um, but telekinesis can be a lot of things. It's not just the movement of stuff. It's also, well, I mean, it is a movement. It's just a different form of movement. Because, like in my Star Child book, I tell about driving home in rush hour traffic, and there's a big boulder in the middle of the highway, and I render the molecular structure of the boulder to be more liquefied, if you will, so that I could drive through it without causing a wreck, and other people behind me could also drive through it without creating an accident. So that was a form of what we would call telekinesis as well, because I was changing its structure. It was a movement, just a different type of movement, if you will,
Oh,
right?
okay. Well, that makes sense.
And then other times, like the salt shaker can get thrown off of the table, and that's telekinesis too, right?
Right. So it kind of helps people wrapping their mind around the full spectrum of, really what is
Yeah.
possible and what you're able to do.
Yeah. I mean, even telepathy, people just think telepathy is just simply speaking to each other in your mind, or somebody, tapping in and reading your thoughts or whatever. But telepathy can come in the form of images,
Pictures, yeah.
full pictures, like a movie. It
Yep.
can come in
Little
words.
scenes playing out. Oh, yes.
Yeah, it can come in words that you hear, or it can come in words that you see. It can come in the form of colors. But remember, all of that is energy, and energy is vibration. And that's exactly what Tesla meant when he said that once we understand the power of 3, 6, and 9, that we truly understand the universe. Because literally everything in this universe is created through energy. Even in the Bible, they tell us that when God created the heavens and the earth with his word, your word is a vibration, right? When you speak, you spell.
Yes.
That's where that came from. Like when you're writing it down, you're manifesting it. That's spell work. That's why in the olden days, only the scribes were literate, because it was considered a form of divination to write or to read or to spell or to speak. You create with the vibration, and they understood that.
Yeah, wow. See, I didn't even put that far into, but yeah, that's very true. That is very true.
Yeah, it goes a lot deeper than just these I think that's really part of my mission, is just to make it more understandable. I guess because of my scientific mind, I needed to understand how it works, and that these one words are not just one word, one definition. It's multi-layered, and there's a lot of times that there's different words that are used that all mean the same thing, have the same definition, you know. And I think that's the
Yeah.
hardest part, maybe, is just understanding the language, right? Because if we can understand the language of it, of spirituality and what that means, then we can truly remove those limits, love ourselves,
Mhm.
and discover who we truly are.
That is so true. Yes, and all of the above. Lori Ladd wanted to know. I'm interested in your take on this. She said, "Please ask remote viewers appear as a bright white orb to the person being viewed. That's exactly how I do it, but I'm not sure. What's your take on that?
So do you mean like if I was to remote view something, do I see myself as a white orb?
Well, the way I travel, or the way that I travel, is like I remember what somebody looks like and what they sound
Mhm.
like, and I can
Mhm.
shift. But when I'm on they see me, it's like as an orb, like
Yeah,
a
definitely.
bright white orb.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. We are, because that's what we are at our core, right? We're energy. We're these balls of light, these balls of energy. When you see the UFOs that people call orbs, like the ones that Chris Bledsoe is calling in, that some people call angels. I mean, essentially that's what they are. The custodians were archangels that taught me. And they would come to me in a ball of light that was just like these orbs, right? Sometimes very large, sometimes small. And when I bilocate or biolocate to do remote viewing, I too am this energy ball. And furthermore, I can take that a little bit farther by saying that the people that have captured on video crop circles being formed by balls of energy sometimes are the ones that us Melchizedeks call grid workers.
Oh, that's
Because we do that
interesting.
in our grid work. We create specific patterns of sacred geometry to do certain things, whether it's to teach humanity, help them to wake up and remember, or to heal the area of land that the crop circles created at. And then other times, it's the other beings that come here and create the crop circles.
Oh, so it's interesting. So sometimes when you're in contact, they show up as an orb.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
see, that is so
When it's
fascinating.
the level of what we would call angels, yeah. The custodians are angels. And that's why they wanted to be called the custodians to begin with, because they knew that I had that religious background, and they didn't want me to see them in that scope that we put angels at, right? Because they were literally here to be a messenger and a teacher for the things that I needed to learn to be who I am. And they needed that to be all I was noticing without any kind of definition, right? Because as humans, we're very attached to labels and definitions. So they actually did the smart thing for me, because if they'd have just told me they were the archangels or told me what their names were and I figured out that they're archangels, it would have been a completely different lesson for me.
Dynamic.
Yeah.
Yes. That would have
Yeah.
changed everything.
So for a long time, I only saw them as orbs of light or light beings, like in the movie Cocoon, how they look like, human-shaped bodies of light. That's what they would look like. They would never give me a clear identity of them until I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And that's when they came to me and said, okay, we feel like you're ready now to know exactly who we are. So we're going to show you what we look like, and we're going to give you our name that
Oh,
people call
wow.
us. And their names were Uriel, Aurora, and Michael. And
That's the power of the name too. The power of the name.
right. Because you would have known Archangel Michael or Archangel Uriel, maybe not Aurora, because I had to look that stuff up and see if she was even really an archangel. I was like,
I heard you
I had
say
no
that, but
clue.
I didn't know about her. Yeah, Aurora. I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Turns out she's actually the feminine counterpart of Uriel in the teachings. And Archangel Uriel is known as the Keeper of Wisdom, which is the name of my custodian's book, The Custodians, the Keepers of Knowledge, because that's what they were teaching me was the knowledge through the Akashic records and learning, except for Michael. Michael didn't teach me that way. Michael taught me to use my reaction time properly. Michael taught me how to manipulate time. And he didn't do it easily either. It was typically on a ledge or a cliff with a sword in my hand. And that's in that book.
And that's how you're going to
that whole
keep
thing
your
is
cool.
in that.
Yeah.
That was in that book. Yeah.
Wow.
I tell all about that experience. But in the end, and I always felt like he was very hard on me, like, I don't know why this dude don't like me.
Some of the best teachers are, I know.
But yeah, he, in the end, he had like a mutual respect for me in the end of my training with him. There was like this mutual, I'm the student that's now becoming a teacher because I've learned really well from him. And I don't think I would have learned as well if he hadn't have been so hard on me, honestly. So Because, like we said at the beginning, give me everything that's the hardest thing on my contract because I can take it. Right?
Times
Throw it
two.
all at
Yeah,
me.
I know. Just when you think I've had enough, you got to throw a couple
Yeah.
more pieces on there.
Yeah. Oh, that's not enough yet. Give me more. I can handle it.
I know. I was like, man, you big mouth, here you go again.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that is so that went full circle, and that is
But
so true because
the rebels.
I honestly, yeah. Yeah. So there might be something more to the disruptor identification than what I initially thought, but
Oh, I'm sure there is.
I know.
I'm sure
But
there
I'm
is.
loud and proud. I said that Gen X, like, we are some of the last hope
Yeah.
here. Yeah, if we can't do this, nobody can. Oh
Yeah.
god.
And, I just want to add real quick, too. You said Gen Xers again. This reminded me. All of the star seeds, particularly our wave of star seeds, if you want to use Dolores Cannon's terminology on it, have probably more than likely also learned and trained with archangels. And someone had a question earlier about indigo children, right, versus rainbow or crystal or whatever. So to understand that a little better is to understand your teachers that you will get, because all 7 of the main, is it 7? How many colors are in the rainbow? Are there 7?
Is 7 or 8? 7 maybe?
Roy G. Biv, is that 7? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I had to do my elementary stuff, Roy G. Biv.
I know I was gonna go. I'm like, but every time you get out of StreamYard now, it freezes you. And somebody did a nice video of me. It froze.
8.
I'm like, well, maybe I'll
Yeah.
just step
So, okay, my point here was each section of the archangels have a specific color or tone or vibration or lesson or even a key, a note, right? Like the key of A or the key of D that's attached to them. We see that in the chakras, right?
Mhm.
The colors of the chakras. So each archangel is one of those colors that governs that chakra, that color, that note, all of those. So when you hear someone say, I'm a blue ray starseed, they
Oh.
fall under the lessons of Uriel and Aurora because they are the blue. Okay. If you're a green ray, if you're a red ray, if you're an indigo, your lessons are coming from different archangels. And there are things out there you can Google to look up archangels and what color or what ray or what title or label you relate to, whether it's a rainbow child, a crystal child, a blue ray, an indigo, however you want to call it, to know better who your archangel teachers or custodians are in this lifetime.
Oh, that's fascinating. That is fascinating. Wow.
But
So
oddly
there's so
enough
much
of us,
more to this. Yeah. Wow.
yeah. But oddly, a lot of us are in the indigo color or the blue, more so than like the younger kids. Both of my younger children are a green and a red ray. And they told me that. I didn't tell them. They didn't know anything about rays. Right? They just told me, matter of factly, I'm from the green rays.
So
And I'm
what
like,
would that mean if somebody said they're like the green ray or the emerald ray or red ray?
so I'm no expert on those other colors because they're not mine. But if I remember right, I think I did put a blog post on my website about that. But I can't recall exactly what those rays mean. Now, when my son said he was a green ray, an emerald ray, of course, for me, automatically, I just assumed that's because he's a Taurus. He's a May 1st baby, and that's his birthstone, right? And so I asked him, well, what does being a green ray or an emerald ray mean to you? And he says, and this is when he was like 6. He's like, oh, well, that means I have all of the power and the wonder and the magic that comes from the green ray of the rainbow. Duh. And I'm like, okay. So clearly these children that are coming in now have a little more knowledge under their belt without tutoring than I came here with, right? Because I had to be taught those things. He just got it natural. He also learned
It's
how
a
to read on his
collective.
own at 3. He literally told me at the age of 3, he got a free pass. When I asked him, how do you know how to read this? He's like, I got a free pass.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he for real did. He's a freaking genius.
Isn't it? I said,
I'm
man, if our kids, I'm telling you, that's where
they're geniuses. I mean,
they
they're coming
sure
in a
are.
lot smarter than we did.
They sure are. They sure are in many
I had to
ways.
learn the hard way.
Yeah, and if you didn't learn the first time, you would learn the second time you went through it. I mean,
Or the
it's just
10th.
like, yeah. Sometimes I just get whomped on
Maybe
the
I'll
head
learn
every
the
single
10th
time.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough. I was like, man, when it comes down to it, I'm that holding that ground and that's where I shine. I mean, if there's a rebellious,
Yeah.
I'm there. But I think that's definitely the beauty of our generation too, because we need right now, things need to be questioned. We don't need just to be going along with everything that's being, we got to really use our discernment, as you stated earlier. It's so important right now.
Question everything.
Yes. Question. And you just do not accept if it doesn't feel right in your gut.
Yep.
Don't that's not for you.
Use discernment. Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, I really want to thank you for coming on. And I would love to do, coming up and doing another episode with you and getting some more of this knowledge. I really
Yeah, sure.
appreciate that you're building this community. I really appreciate that you're giving people hope and holding a space for them and teaching them how to regulate some of this. And so they're able to do that for themselves, because that's very important.
It is my absolute honor and privilege to do so and to be on your show.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And before we let you go, tell everybody again, I've been dropping your links. I have 3 of them. If there's anything that I need to update to or get more out there. But I've got YouTube at Beacon News 777, Facebook, and then I got your Earth on Grid, or excuse me,
Earthsong.
Yeah, Lovecraft.
Yeah. Yep. Earthsonglovecraft.com.
Perfect.
And yeah, that's it. I'm generally just on YouTube, Facebook, or my website. I mean, I do other social media, but I just don't focus on them like I do the others. I'm only on X to find my conspiracy stuff.
That's okay. Over on X. Oh boy, are they on riled up?
Yeah.
And
I'm just not mentally capable of TikTok, so I'll just leave it there. Like, it's too busy for me.
Shut it down. I was like, man, this all gets so crazy. Like, just block it out, shut this out, and definitely take care of yourself for the day.
Yeah, I like my quieter spaces, so TikTok's just not my thing.
I know. So you get going in that TikTok shop. I get lost there. I said, man.
Yeah.
Oof.
But yeah, YouTube or my website or my Facebook groups. Now on Facebook, like, you can follow me on just my name, but it's Kelly Smith on Facebook, not Kelly Robertson. Or you can join the group, which is Earthsong Lovecraft's School of Thought. And I also have a alien abduction support group.
Oh, very
and
cool.
It's a really amazing, pretty big group, actually. And it's a complete safe space for everyone who has experienced abduction or contact in any way, shape, or form. It's a great place for people to come and commune together. It's a great place to come to find answers. It's just, it's probably one of my most proud groups that I have. And I also have a Bigfoot research group for here in Indiana. Because we have a lot of Bigfoot here, and they too are very spiritual.
Oh yes, we got in the crew. We're pretty well. I think. I mean, they're a great group. We have a great cryptids group. They have a every second Monday of the month. Pops, who was behind with you, he has a panel in there. Yeah, I absolutely love getting into all that stuff too. It's just,
me too. I have quite a few Bigfoot interactions.
Oh, do you?
That I've had throughout life. Yeah. And I'm like 100% convinced they are some other kind of human. I mean, I've been so up close that I was literally 2 feet away from one time, and his face looked so freaking like Neanderthal kind of human, right? because they've
That's
got
what
a
Pop
bigger kind of
says.
weird.
Yeah.
They've got the kind of weird forehead, but they're so human looking, and his eyes were so human looking. I was just like, I wasn't even scared when I realized that I was standing, and I didn't see him because they are hairier. They are very hairy. So for me, I'm looking down at the ground because I'm looking for a dog in the woods. I'm not expecting anybody to be there. And I'm thinking I'm just walking up to a tree, and I just look up. I'm like, that looks like a really hairy tree. And I look all the way up till I reach his eyes, and I'm like, oh, that's not a tree. And he's just kind
Oh,
of hanging
man.
out, like with one arm laying through a limb, just kind of hanging out, watching me like, hey, girl,
Just
what's up?
relaxing. Yeah.
And
Hey, hey, girl. Hey.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do the way that my dad taught me. If I walk up on a snake in the woods, I'm just going to back away. Right.
Slowly, right?
Slowly back away. And that's what I did. I just slowly backed away. But because, after a few seconds, then you're like, oh, shit, what is this? Right.
Run.
Run. And my mom and my boyfriend had already seen him standing in front of me, and they did run and lock themselves in the daggone car.
You
So
can
much
tell
for
us when
having a
it's all
boyfriend.
gone. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
gone.
That
They are
was
gone.
it's a hard lesson that boys don't always protect you.
I know.
But
Oh
but
boy. Yeah, no,
uh,
that is hilarious. But yeah, Pop says the same things. He's like, they are like, another
they are.
former human. Yeah, he said they're very
And they
much
know,
like you and I.
like they know, they read energy. See, I teach people to read energy. Being a medical intuitive, I teach you how to scan bodies and read energy, right? They read energy, and they know if you're good or not. And that's why you hear about these crazy teenagers out in the woods that leave their fire burning after they crawl in the tent at night and Bigfoot terrorizes them, because you're not being responsible, right?
Mm.
You don't leave a fire burning in somebody's house if you go to visit them. Why are you doing it in Bigfoot's house?
Yeah.
So,
No, that's true. That's true. Like
right?
this is, as far
You're
as we
leaving your
know,
trash laying
right?
around, hooting and hollering. They're not going to like you being there. You're not being respectful of nature. You're not being respectful of their home.
That's
So
true.
they know you're not good. But this one knew that I was good. Like, I mean, it literally could have killed me. It was so close to me. If it was bad, it certainly could have killed me. But it didn't. It just looked at me.
Yes, and that's what
It
Pops
didn't.
will say too. He's like, you know what? They if they really wanted to come in your house, they will come
Oh,
in
they
your house. Like it's
can.
gonna blow through right through your door. Like it's nothing.
Yeah, I've had one in my garage. He had 16-inch footprints.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he walked right in my garage, opened the door, and came right in.
He probably
They can
peeled
come
it
in if they
open
want.
like it was nothing, like a can opener. I mean that's
No, I mean,
truthfully when the reality.
he turns the doorknob and walked in, right?
Oh, that's cool.
I
That's very
mean,
cool.
it was
That's what
kind of
Jane said.
crazy.
At the
It
East
was-
City Ranch, he's like that we've got him to the point now, the peanut butter, he's like they put the lids back on the peanut butter
Oh,
jars.
yes. I used to gift the ones out in the woods by my house. I put all of the food in a tackle box, right? Because like even a raccoon can't undo a tackle box. You got to have opposing thumbs and really know what you're doing there to get all that going on. You know what I mean? And I would put all the food in there. First of all, they don't like tuna. They will not ever take the tuna if I leave tuna out there for them. They don't want
Oh,
it.
really?
But they love peanut butter. They love candy bars. They love crackers. And they love apples. Like they're freaking
I heard
obsessed
about
with
apples
apples.
too.
Yeah, apples. And they really love it when you draw little pictures on rocks and stuff for them too.
That's
Because we used to
cool.
exchange gifts. Me and my little girl used to draw. We would paint rocks, and put pictures on them and leave them out with the food and stuff. And I've even left books for them that they took. They took the books.
Wow.
Yeah. But they would always bring us things back too. It's like cool pine cones or cool shaped rocks, right? Because I'm a rock collector. Like my house is pretty much decorated in nature. I have rocks and pine cones and things sitting around everywhere.
That's
And
cool.
some of those were gifts from the Bigfoot family that we would feed. But yeah, we fed them all the time. And this guy from BFRO, he was like, you don't want to be feeding them because then they're going to get to where they expect it. And if you don't feed them, they're going to get dangerous. I'm like,
Well, I guess there's every grocery store here in America that it's, it's like at some point. Oh
Right.
boy.
Right? I mean, if that was the case, I think everybody would have gotten attacked for not feeding them once or something. And yeah, grocery
Yeah.
stores. Like, you think Bigfoot can't walk in the grocery store and get food if he wanted to? I think that
Right.
could happen. I think it could. They
I
just
think you're
choose
right
not
about
to
that.
because they don't like being around us. I mean, as a rule, humanity. They don't like
I don't blame
humanity.
them. I do not blame them. And you got people out there, it's just like, man, they get want a little spark of fear in them. And what are they capable of doing? I can't even imagine what some people
Yeah.
have done, out there. We
Yeah.
need to do better. We definitely need to do better with that.
We really do. And a lot of those hunters in the woods, they're more of a shoot first, ask question later kind of guy.
Mhm.
So
So
I
it's
don't blame
more of a
them.
gaming, like, yeah, let's hunt for thrill than it is for need or
Right. Right. See, and my grandfather, he was like, you don't waste anything. You don't take more than you need from the land. And we would literally use every single piece of the animal, right down to the sinew being thread. Like, everything was used from head to tail, from head to hoof. Actually, was the way
see
he would
that,
put it.
yeah. So you got the Native American grounding.
Yeah, yeah,
That's so cool. That holds such a huge piece of this. I'm like, man, to have that would be amazing.
yeah. It is, and I just want to say this real quick about food. We talk about how animals are treated poorly, that go to market and stuff, right?
Mhm.
And lots of people just want to be vegetarians because of this. They think that we should have never ate meat, even in our beginnings. But my grandfather taught me that they had such immense respect for the animal, right? That
Yeah.
when they would take its life, first of all, they would not come right out and take it where it felt fear. That was very important because that's an emotional imprint that goes into the blood and the meat
Yeah.
that you eat.
Yes.
So in that sense, people are right. When they are mass-produced animals, they're being mistreated, and that is an impression that's in the blood and the meat, and then you consume it, and you're consuming that energy.
Yep.
My Native American ancestors didn't consume that type of energy because they would ambush it from behind, catch it off guard, take it out clean, and then they would pray over it and thank they called it the Great Spirit, right? Instead of God. Same thing. They would thank the Great Spirit for this life. They would respect that life. They would honor that life, and they would understand that it's part of the circle of life.
Yeah.
And then they would literally use every single thing from head to hoof so that it wasn't wasted. And we need meat. We need that meat for our brain, for our muscles, all kinds of things. So, not that I'm trying to
We don't need that
discourage.
adrenaline. No, you're
I'm not trying to discourage
right
people from
about
being a
this. So.
vegetarian or a vegan if that's what they want to do, but I'm just saying that it is safe to eat the meat. It is good to eat the meat as long as the meat is good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's people that can't afford to go buy from a local farmer that still want to eat meat. So how do you solve that? We literally have something called the bovine test that shows an energetic change in the molecular structure of something. The way that I was talking about how we can change the water and make it healthier by meditating on it. This is something my grandfather also taught me. So you can purchase that piece of steak from the grocery store, okay? That was likely created in a mass production kind of thing where he went to a slaughterhouse and he had those emotional impressions put in him. But at the time that you get this meat, if you bless it, if you honor the life it had, you release that energy just like you're sending it to the light, okay?
Mm.
You cleanse that meat. And then when you eat it, you're not consuming negative energy imprints that are in that meat because you released it. So I just want to add that for people.
No, and that's
energy and food and how important energy really is to everything we do. And to transmute it. We can transmute it is my point.
That's good to know, because that really bothered me. And when I started to put the pieces together, like anything, there's a cult that runs in the UFO community. And I was told they were going to the supermarket. And this is from one of the people in the group, and they were buying the animal blood, like you said, the mass production, because it did have that adrenaline that was released in there. And for whatever reason, the negative part feeds on that type of.
Loosh. Yep.
Yes.
It's loosh.
It's exactly what it is. And that's exactly what's happening. And people don't, I'm like, man, oof. You know, it really is. Like, you got to be really aware on sometimes. But I did not know that once that process had been done, that you could go in there and
You can transmute it.
Yes,
Yep.
transmute it. I like that word. I like that.
Transmute the energy. Yeah, that's what all of this is about. We're creators, so we can transform it. You know, we can take something bad and turn it into something positive. Even COVID. COVID was a horrible thing. It created so much separation and division and fear in people. But if you'll think about it, they first called it Corona. And Corona means crown. And what happened in that moment when the COVID lockdown happened? The thing that I never understood about this whole plan that I was here for and how it actually gets pulled off. How do you make the world stop? And I don't know how many clients I've had that said their true awakening happened in 2019, 2020, because the world stopped. Everybody had to stop. And that's what made people start thinking again for themselves, start asking questions, start really looking and paying attention. So we actually transmuted the energy of COVID into something really beautiful and powerful that we now call the Great Awakening. And by the way, the COVID lockdown happened in my late 40s, just as I was told that the Great Awakening would fully kick off in my late 40s, which is also in my book. And, you know, there were different waves of awakening for different star seeds. Some happened in 2012. Some happened in 2017.
That's
very important numbers. Very important numbers. And then the others, 2019, 2020. And hindsight is 2020. So I think it's beautifully poetic, and God had to have had a hand in all of it happening.
Yes. The chances in this all happening by accident, I think, are slim to none. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. I really want to thank you so much for bringing, all of this. Like, it has really, from this point forward, I feel like it's grounded me in a lot of ways, and hearing some of what you had to say really confirmed a lot of what, I've been going towards, or feel like, is the right thing. And just to know, and that, in our gut, and trusting that discernment. I mean, that's very cool. That is very cool. And, it's like, man, you've got somebody that's holding that space, that's willing to go there. And I'm like, I'm all about it. Before you go, tell two people, what days, I guess, what are your shows? Or I know you said Sunday, right? You had one.
Yeah, Sunday is my regular show. Typically it airs around 3 p.m. And it's called Beyond the Veil. And that's typically in the title of the show. And then the other stuff I do is random, because I just go with what spirit calls me to do in the day. It might be conspiracy. It might be just some truth seeker stuff. It could be spiritual. This past week, with the new moon and 7 planets in alignment with us, it's been about the zodiac and psychological profiles, right?
Yeah.
Empowerment type videos for that. So it's a crapshoot, but it's all good stuff.
No, that's, yeah, I know it can get a little murky out there. So this is why we have people, I thank you very much for what you do, and being willing to navigate some of this, because it really is needed.
I appreciate being here.
That's awesome.
It was an honor to meet you and your audience.
Oh yeah, they absolutely. They've been saying wonderful things about you. They're really relating to a lot of what you say, and that's really important. So, and two, and until I always say, until the next time, what would you like to leave the people with?
That humanity is far more powerful than we were ever taught. And we truly are who we've been waiting for.
That's awesome. I want to thank you so much. And again, I would love to have you back on.
I would
I'm
love to
please
be
keep me
back.
updated, yeah, with your work, and I can get some of that out too for you. And then, so if you guys have not, I'm going to go
Absolutely.
ahead and drop your links again in chat. Definitely get over YouTube, Facebook, and the Earthsong Lovecraft.com.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to check out those free programs, I have tons of different kinds of free programs. On yoga, meditation, all kinds of basic foundation root work stuff. That 7-day activation guide that literally walks you through every single day and helps you, gives you tools. And then the 21-day activation, which helps you to go deeper and really look at yourself a little more and see where we can improve and know how to really appreciate what we have that we tend to overlook about ourselves, which is also important. So I
Oh,
encourage
yeah.
everybody to check those out.
That's awesome. Yes. And then it says, okay, I just want to make sure. What's that with the astrology and psychological profiles? Somebody wanted to know really quick.
So that's one of my books and also a program that you can purchase on the website. Now, most of the programs, if you don't subscribe to become a member, which is totally free, you won't see the programs, and I can't help that. That's just the way the website's set up. So there's a program called the Zodiac, using astrology as a psychological mirror, and then a book by the same name. Now, the program has a workbook format to it, but to purchase the book as a companion greatly helps you to build and improve upon that. So I always highly recommend using the two, but it's not necessary to have. It's not like you can't do one without the other. It just helps to complement the lesson if you really want to truly learn who you are and what makes you tick, and then learn everybody else too. So, but they're both
Yeah.
the same name.
So and then you can find that on your website. Yeah. And too, Cindy said, come on Pop's show. Pops has a cryptid panel that we do every Monday at 8 p.m. or excuse me, second Monday of the month at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So yeah, they're trying to recruit you for that. So that's awesome.
I would love to be on Pop's show. I had the pleasure of meeting him before we began the
Isn't he
show.
great? Oh
He's
gosh,
awesome.
he's great.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
he's awesome.
I tell you, this community would not be the same. He's got a heart of gold. He really does. He's an
Yeah.
absolutely amazing group. But
He doesn't give himself enough credit.
I know, isn't he? He's like the most. Oh God, I always
He's
feel like,
so beautifully humble.
yes. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, he does not give. He's probably one of the best mods. I mean, to known mankind. I mean, sometimes he's modding up to like 8 chats, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can
Wow.
barely keep up with one.
He's like a superhero.
He is too. I was like, man,
That's
oh man.
incredible.
I know. That's why I'm like, this is
Wow.
like superhuman like abilities here. I can barely
Yeah,
keep track of
that's
one.
pretty cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I'd love to be on with him and talk Bigfoot or Wendigos or whatever.
That's
Werewolves.
awesome. Yes. Well, I can go ahead and I'll find out. And yeah, that's amazing. So I really, again, Kelly, I want to thank you so much for your time, your energy. Tell your kiddos that we really appreciate all of that and you coming on here. It's been wonderful.
Thank you. I've had a great time talking to you. It's been a real pleasure.
Yes, and we'll be talking to you soon. So
Okay.
that's awesome. Yeah, Kelly's amazing, absolutely amazing. I just amazing. I wish, that area, like with Miya, they speak the language, they walk the talk. I'm not going to even pretend I am a spiritual guru at all. I'm not even going to go there. But it's so important to know these things, and it's so important to navigate through. I want to thank Moon. I know Moon, you probably are in bed sleeping, but thank you so much for the super sticker. Pops, thank you so much for the 5, and welcome to the new 5. We're Woo Crew. I mean, we are whatever the SNX. I mean, yeah. I guess do we decide on a name yet? We gotta decide, because I posted that and then we had people up in arms about the Woo Crew. I mean, you can be anything you want, but welcome to the family. And then two, I wanted to thank Pancho so much for the super sticker. So Weirdos Unite. Yes, we are too. That's embrace it. Yeah, so it's been an absolutely a wonderful evening. I encourage you to definitely go check out Kelly's work. She was just, I mean, it made a whole lot of sense to listen to. And yeah, for those of you that have really stuck in there this past week, I really do appreciate. And you over on X, okay, let's talk about your bad manners over there, trolls. I think that definitely we are going to double down, and we are not backing down. This stuff needs to end. We are not going to go and publicly assassinate people like they do over there. But I'm telling you that we are doubling down. This is absolutely crazy that any of this is going on. I encourage people to report it. If you see something, you say something, you do something. And yes, until then. So two, definitely, if you have not checked out the second Monday of the month, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, check out Pops' cryptid panel. They are absolutely wonderful. That's Cindy, Lori, Keith. They're all on. I mean, Pop. They've got a great crew. They do, and I look forward to it. It's definitely one of. I appreciate every single one of you. So. On that note, thank you for taking the journey into the unknown. I'm Coley Weber, also known as ColeyUFO. And until next time, be good to one another. And yeah, definitely keep an open heart, an open mind, and yeah, be good to one another.
He's there ain't lying. UFOs in the night.